Welcome to the Arm Wrestling Buzz podcast. This is Hollywood Matt Connolly with the double biceps. It is in the contract, a legal requirement every single time we appear on cameras, making sure the lawyers are happy, the I's are dotted, and the T's are crossed. We have, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only, and that is the Mr. Paul Italia, the man who started the show. He's got the Arm Wrestling Buzz shirt ready to go. 2 pairs of sunglasses. You got the sunnies on the shirt as well as the sunnies as well. That's great. And of course, we've got the fantastic arm wrestler all the way from California in Israel Chavez. Good to see you here, my friend.
Thank you.
What's up, fellas? How's everybody doing today?
Doing good, doing very well. We got some big events on this weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing.
Hell yeah, lots of topics to cover this week. Lots of action in the community.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got East versus West 13 that'll be taking place, as well as Arm Gods Wales. So 2 massive events. East versus West 13 has 15 matches on the card, including 6 title matches, which is just absolutely insane. And Arm Gods Wales is not far behind. I think I've got the picture up here of how many matches they've got on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 matches as well for Arm Gods Wales. So there is an enormous amount of arm wrestling to see this weekend. Oh, Paul's dropped out. We'll see if he kicks back in again. But
yeah, Matt, I just had a question. Do you have the card for that Arm Gods event?
I do indeed. Well, we've got the East versus West card is right here. So we've got that one ready to go, as well as the Arm Gods one, which you can find on their website. It's armgods.com. I think it's .com. If you just type Arm Gods into Google, you'll be able to find it. But that is the East versus West card right there. And you can see that the main event, Morozov and Laletin, it's going to be a huge match.
Hell yeah. Another thing I want to talk about before we break into the big events coming up this weekend is there's been a lot of chatter going around about the Aydin James English match. You know, Aydin's getting a lot of hate, a lot of people talking shit on Reddit and, you know, all online. And I kind of just wanted to bring that up and kind of get your guys' take of everything. You know, I know Devin got a little pissed off and made a kind of a video and, you know, kind of was calling everybody soy drinkers and all that stuff. So did you guys see all that hate going towards Aydin over his big match against James?
You go first, Israel.
I did. You know, I actually got to see some of the comments and see what the community was saying. As far as, you know, how I think it went, I mean, it's a competition, you know. Yes, James is less experienced, and I mean, it probably, you know, would have been more entertaining if Aydin was a little more fair. But at the end of the day, it's a competition, and Aydin was trying to win, you know. So you can't really give him too much hate for that. He got away with what the refs allowed, you know. I mean, he was just being a competitor, I think.
Yeah, I think that's. Oh, you go, Paul. Sorry.
Who do you think was wrong then? Do you think it was the blame should be on the refs? Do you think it should be Aydin? Who do you think was wrong?
I mean, I think, you know, if you're gonna blame somebody, you know, blame the refs. I mean, they're the ones that allowed Aydin to get away with as much as he did. If they wanted to be a little stricter, they could have. I mean, I really don't see how you can put the blame on Aydin personally.
Matt, what's your take on the whole situation? Did you think Aydin was a little out of control with it? Do you think it was all cool and everything? You know, just try taking what you can in the setup, and it was more on the refs. Who do you think was more at fault with that?
Well, I think it was interesting because I think it's one of the first events that I really remember where they put the microphones on the table and you could hear exactly what the referees and the athletes were saying. Most of the time you can sort of guess at what they're complaining about, or you have like a little bit of the audio, but this was really quite clear. And you could see like if people weren't massive fans of arm wrestling and, you know, into all of the little nitty gritty of absolutely everything, and they're watching Aydin just constantly complaining to the referee about, he's got my hand, he's a bit higher, this is not the middle, it's this, yeah, his shoulders forward, it's that, you know, he's moved forward again, he's pushing that, he's doing this. Like, you could see how people would be quite like, oh, well, who is this guy? He's just complaining nonstop. And then with the starts, obviously, it was close your hands and he'd go and he'd get the pin really fast. And it was like, oh, it didn't feel. You could see people getting frustrated with that and going, well, he's done something. Like, I don't know what he's done, but he's complained so much that he's gotten himself into a position where he can just get an easy pin. But the reality is, and everyone who arm wrestles, at a well, not even a high level, at a level where they understand what's going on. You understand what he's doing. He's manipulating everything he can control to get himself the best possible chance to win. And that's, what Devin does. It's what the people at the absolute elite level will do time and time again to put themselves in a position, most favorable position to win the match. And you can see that, well, this is never a good time to be a referee, but when all eyes are on you and the world's recording and watching stuff back in slow-mo and just frame by frame, and they're like, you missed this tiny little thing. It's like, man, I'm doing this live. Like, this is real time for me. I'm trying my best I'm looking at hands, the shoulders here, there's something else going on, somebody's sliding. Like, it's not an easy job for sure. So I can understand people's frustration, but at this point in time, that's reality of arm wrestling.
Yeah, I could see that. I think it was more on the refs. If you're gonna put blame to anybody, the guys that are supposed to take charge are the refs. And I think if they just started handing out some more fouls during that match, a little more quick than just giving out warnings, I think that might have kind of took control of the whole situation. But I mean, you also got to understand, there was so much hype on this match. This is also the first Challenger Series. So the referees were trying to figure out what rule set to be, following because, before when they came from WAF, everything was so strict. Any kind of micro foul was to be called. But then as we went on East versus West, it was like evolving each event, So the referees were told to be more lenient, then they were being told that they were being too lenient, so there's got to be like a balance. So we kind of put the referees in a tough position on what do we want from them. You know what I mean? And I think the more that we have more events and there's more Challenger Series, I think we'll figure out where is like the equilibrium that'll be, keep everybody happy and all. So, I wouldn't put so much, on the refs. I think they'll evolve and figure it out, to make it the best viewing. Um, for the people that are watching and all. And as far as Auden, I hate to see him getting the hate he is, man. I don't think he deserves it. The one thing that I did have a problem with, which I think was a little not called for, was when he did he got pinned and then he pinned James English and like held him down. And the match was already over, and you could see on James's face he was a little confused and like was like, "Yo, whoa, what are you doing right now, bro?" Like, so I think that was the only part of the match that I actually had a problem with. And, I think people were saying that Devin did that in the past with Dave Chafee match and all. And, people were a little, didn't like that. So that was the only part that I was not in agreement with Auden. Everything else, man, you got to go what you could get away with. You got to fight in the setup. You got to, whatever you could win and get away with, you got to try, man. And they weren't giving out fouls, so a warning's a warning. That's all it is. So I think it was a great match overall. I think it led up. It definitely came up to all the hype that was behind it and all the lead up. I think it was just amazing. It wasn't like one sided. It went back and forth. So, let's let Odin get a pass on that, man. He's learning. He's still real young. He's only 19 years old. But I just, I hate to see him catching all this hate when I don't think he's really deserved it.
I agree,
Yeah,
Paul. And
absolutely.
I just wanted to say real quick, Matt, that we saw in round 3 that the threat from James was really real. I mean, if James got what he wanted and was able to, get in his position, there was little Auden could do. So that just proves that Auden playing his best game wasn't for nothing. I mean, he really was trying to win. And the night before, pulling left-handed, even though they're not saying anything, might have worried him a little.
Yeah, who do you
Yeah,
who do you think was overall stronger? Do you think that James did have the strength gap on
I'll
him?
tell.
After
I do
seeing
think.
that go into strap.
Yeah, man. I think that if it would have been in the strap, getting somewhere around a hook, every single round, James would have taken it every round. But you know, that's not the game.
Yeah, Odin showed he know how to arm wrestle, man. That's arm that's being a ninja on the table, and he showed that experience. You know, it was the winner that day. You know, because in my eyes, looking at that after they got in that strap round, you know, it looked like James had a significant strength gap over Odin. So for Odin to get that win was pretty impressive to me. But shout out to both competitors, man. I hope to see a lot more of James English. I really like the kid, man. Think it's a real good look for arm wrestling. He's getting a lot of other eyes on the sport. You know, all the bodybuilders, all his friends are all watching him and seeing him get so into something. And I'm sure it's putting a lot of interest and a lot of new eyes. And that's definitely what we need in our sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely,
Completely
man.
agree. Yeah, it was sort of similar to when Larry Wheels was coming over to arm wrestling, and I think he's sort of still dabbling in it a little tiny bit at the moment, but it brought so many new fans to this sport, and I was just so happy when I saw that match that it wasn't like a 3-0 the way that the first 2 rounds went, because it would have been so frustrating for James to have done all that work, all that preparation and everything, and then just get 3 pretty quick flash pins. And I think it'd be one of those experiences where you'd just be like, look, I'm never doing that again. It was so bad. And for him to actually get the pin in the 3rd round was like, yes, I'm so happy for him now, because it's like his hard work, you could see the amount of time and effort that he's put in, and he actually got a pin, and it was like, oh, this is now it's actually competitive. So yeah, if he gets his lane, if he gets his spot, we can see like a real battle. But yeah, I was just so happy that it wasn't 3-0 instant pins.
I agree, man. I was shocked, dude, because at the beginning of that first round, I was like, uh-oh. I was like, this is not looking good for James and all. And then when we got the strap on and James like showed what he was about, I was so excited, man. I was like, this is the best thing. We needed that for sure. But another thing I want to bring up, man, that you just mentioned him was Larry Wheels. I seen on Pradeep's channel, I think it was like a week or 2 back, he was saying that Larry has made it clear that he is backing off all sports, like trying to compete to be the best in any of those sports, or, that he was dabbling in, and kind of was like a punch in the gut to us arm wrestlers. So we know we've had him in the sport for like 3-4 years, and, he was taking on a bunch of super matches at the beginning, didn't go his way, but, we thought he was still sticking with it and keeping up training, and, we're expecting to see him compete more. But to hear that, kind of was discouraging in a way. What do you guys think when you heard that Larry was kind of like, falling back from being like, world competitive in other sports?
Israel, you go, mate.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I saw a video with Larry, and it was called what is that called? I relapsed. He put a video out, and he was talking about how he was going to be stepping back from the amount of performance-enhancing drugs that he was taking, and he changed course a little bit on that, and then started getting heavily back into it. I think he was talking about he wanted to suddenly pursue bodybuilding, and he's like, well, if I want to be in bodybuilding, that's what I need to do to be a competitive bodybuilder. I need to be on all these certain substances. And he sort of jumped into that and got heavily into it, despite his stance on saying, hey, look, I'm going to pull back on everything. And all of a sudden now he's on 8 different things at once. So I think that had a little bit of a reality check for him a few months into it, that he's like, look, I'm doing the opposite of what I said I wanted to do. And I think what his plan was, that he wanted to be more of a businessman, more of the face behind everything, as opposed to the athlete competing and trying to win everything. And he's like, I don't really know why I got into the bodybuilding side of it. That was never my plan. It was just like, what's the next thing I should do? And it's like, well, that was logically, I'm already massive and pretty lean. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to push into that area now, instead of, well, what do I really want? What do I want to achieve? And it wasn't, I want to be the best bodybuilder in the world. It's, I want to run my company and grow it and get it to the next level. And being a top level bodybuilder isn't going to help that in any way. Bring more attention to me. Yeah, great. But I can do that in other ways. And I can have a much more expansive audience based on the other business moves that he's doing. So for him to step back, I think he's not just doing it from an arm wrestling point of view or a strongman point of view or a bodybuilding point of view. It's like he's refocused where he wants to have his attention, and that is into his business and companies instead.
What do you think that means though for him moving forward in the arm wrestling world at all? Is he going to still dabble? Do you think he's still going to be part of the arm wrestling world? Is we're going to see a significant cutback now? What is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
that he. Oh, you go, Hazran. I've spoken before.
I, no, that's okay. I was just gonna say that I hope it means that we're gonna see more of him arm wrestling. I think bodybuilding as a whole is a much more established and professional sport, and it maybe requires more out of somebody than arm wrestling. The guy's a strong guy, and he doesn't need to look super strong to be strong. So I could imagine that it could transition well into his schedule and into his ability to have time to actually work on it now. So it could be a good thing.
Yeah, I think it may be that he's taking a step back from all of the sporting aspects that he was doing. Hopefully he's still going to dabble in arm wrestling. I mean, it's always there, which is one of the great things about this sport. It seems to be that people get better as they get older. And you look at the top 10 guys in the world, the majority of them are over the age of 40. So he's got a long career ahead of him if he wants to pursue arm wrestling, and it doesn't need to be all in or nothing. It's he can step in for a year, step out, do something else for a while, come back. I'd love to see him on the table. I think not only is he a good guy, a good representative, but he's a good competitor as well.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
And
I think
Paul,
arm
what do you
wrestling,
think? I
man. I
think
think. Go ahead, Israel.
Go ahead, Paul. No, I was just going to ask you, Paul, if you think part of it has to do just with, the health aspect of it. It seems like a lot of guys are, switching or at least being a little more conscious about the things that they're taking.
Funny that you said that, brother, because I've had my own recent scare. I just recently, I don't know if everybody knows, but I was just in the hospital actually last week, and I had kidney stones. And I didn't know for a good like 3 4 days before what it was. And I went to emergency room a few times, and they did a blood work on me, and the thing that was coming back right away was there was something going on in my kidneys. My kidney levels were all off. So right away when they said this, in my head I'm thinking of everything I've taken in the past, any cycles that I've ran, and you start getting paranoid. And I'm at that age now, we're not all these in our 20s and 30s anymore, and you start getting more health conscious and thinking of things like that. And I think I got a little scared myself. There was a couple of days where I didn't know what I was dealing with. I just know I was in pain that I've never felt before in my life. And I started thinking of everything that I've ever did. And, it just started, kind of like hitting me like, wow, I've always thought like a 20-year-old, like, oh, I could take whatever. I'm so young. I got so much life left in me. And when you start hitting your 40s and everything, you start like now realizing like, holy shit, did I always take care of myself the best way? Some of the stuff that I've taken, I've heard is bad for your kidneys and all. So I've experienced for myself, and after finding out it was kidney stones, and then after they got them out, realizing all my levels went back to normal, I was like, wow, I really am lucky right now with everything I've taken in the past. So I've recently changed everything up. My nutrition, I'm back on it. I'm very conscious of my nutrition now. I've decided I'm going to stop everything except TRT and HDH. Which that's a big thing for me. I come from a bodybuilding background. I've always cycled on and off. I've always did multiple compounds, stacking stuff. And I just started saying to myself, like, what am I doing this all for now? What am I chasing? Is this really worth taking years off my life and everything? And I want to be here and enjoying everything I built for myself and my family and all. So, I could just say for myself, I'm going through my own thing and, making some adjustments and lowering things and getting rid of stuff that I don't need to take. And so just from that, man, I think it's a lot of us are going through that and learning. I think Devin might be going through that same kind of thing in life. I think that's what with the big weight loss and all and losing 30 40 pounds. Obviously he's off the pancakes, and there's probably something behind that. And What's your guys' thoughts on all that, and getting health conscious, kind of?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you look at this. You just reminded me of Dorian Yates. Who was obviously Mr. Olympia, um, and he was on Joe Rogan's podcast. He was talking about when he stopped taking all of the amount of stuff that he was taking, because when he retired from competitive bodybuilding, he was still training just as hard, and he was still trying to keep this massive body. And about 6 months into that, he was like, why am I doing this hard level of training now? I've been through the Olympia. I've reached all my goals with that. I've retired from bodybuilding. I don't need to, when I meet people or whatever, I think he had this feeling that if he goes and does appearances or meet and greets, that they're expecting Mr. Olympia to walk through, and he's going to be this gigantic, gargantuan, massive monster. And he's like, at the end of the day, that to me isn't worth my health and my life in the long run, if he's using it to that level where he's putting his health at risk. And he's like, I don't care enough about what other people that I don't know think of me. If I go and meet people, I still train, I still in good shape, but I'm not this massive Mr. Olympia yet. And you've got to expect that when you meet me, I'm not going to be that. So if your expectations are not met by that when you meet me, well, too bad. That's who I am now. I'm looking after me, and I'm still doing Yates. I still won the competitions, but yes, I'm not 140 kilos and 3% body fat. So
Yeah,
I mean, it's got
and
to be a huge mental thing. It's got to be a huge mental thing, knowing that you used to walk around at 300 pounds, be one of the biggest dudes on the planet, and everybody recognizes you. And then, to see him today, and I mean, when you first look at him, you're like, wow, he like shriveled up, and you're like, holy shit. And it's like, even with Ronnie Coleman, same kind of thing. And I think it's like these guys, realizing, they stretched out their body so much, they're never going to look the same again. And a lot of them having a lot of health problems, like Ronnie Coleman. I mean, he could hardly walk these days. He's like in a wheelchair and all. Even though he's hitting the gym every day, he's still sticking with it and all. But he's not looking too good. Another guy is Dennis Wolf. He was another monster, and you see him today, and he's so skinny and all that. And but it's got to mess with them mentally. It definitely does. And just like you said, being known as this big monster, and then when you see the guy and he's only like 180 pounds these days and shriveled up, it definitely, it is kind of weird seeing them like that. But I mean, at the same time, bro, it's health, and you want to be here for the long run, and you don't want to just be cycling and nonstop and not really caring, because you're gonna find out in the long run what you did to yourself, and definitely not a fun thing to find out.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. I think a lot of the guys, in the industry, it started. He wasn't like. I mean, he was still very young. He shouldn't have died. Rich Piana, and then from there we started seeing all these guys. Dallas McCarver. I think he was like 26, 27 when he died. We just had another guy, Joe Aesthetics. He was like a really well-known physique guy. He was only, I believe, 30, and he also passed away. And all these guys are realizing that, like, wow, maybe, like you said, Paul, maybe we're not invincible even in our 20s and 30s. And being
Yeah,
conscious of it
and
is really
then
smart.
the thing that I also I when you just said all those names that passed away, I think it was in the last like 3-4 years, there was like at least 10 big time
Yeah.
bodybuilders
Oh,
that passed
absolutely.
away. So I started like really getting nervous, and started worrying, like, what are they taking and all? Am I taking the same stuff as them? And I started like kind of digging in and trying to find out like actual dosages and what the problem was. And what I found out going through podcasts and just talking to guys in the industry, I come from a bodybuilding background. I hang out at like a lot of my home gyms are like Babs Francis, which is like the mecca of arm wrestling on the East Coast. All the big time guys are there. So I'm in the circle. I still talk with all these guys and all. So I started like diving in, kind of finding out what they think was doing it. And when I came to conclusion, it was they were all running insane amounts of trend, like dosages I've never even heard. When I was in the bodybuilding world 10 years ago, we never heard the dosages they're taking today. And that's the one thing in common that I've seen, was they seem to have been taking so much trend, and that seems to be in what was making everybody fall over and all that. So That's just what I've learned and what I was asking around and just listening to a bunch of podcasts out there and trying to educate myself with.
Yeah, you can see the insecurity side of it that would come with putting on so much. Let me back up a little bit. A lot of guys will get into weight training stuff because they want to increase their. Oh, hang on, we've got somebody joining in here. We'll just add them in. Make the moves. His camera is not on
Scott
yet.
Wynn over in
There he is.
California.
Scott
Hello,
Wynn.
Scott.
What's up, Scott? How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How you guys doing? Can you hear me?
Good,
Good,
mate.
man.
Good, Scott.
Good.
Good to see
Yep,
you.
can you hear?
I'm not
We're
getting a
just on
full
the
picture.
subject of steroids in arm wrestling and talking about how some of the guys, might be realizing and cutting back. And we were talking about Larry Wheels and some of the bodybuilders that also were big time, juice heads and top world athletes, and now they've stopped everything and kind of coming more health conscious. That's kind of where we're at right now on the topic.
So you're saying there's steroids in arm wrestling?
Yeah, shocking, right?
Maybe.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
a
do
pretty
defeat
crazy theory.
what I was saying before. So it's like to me, a lot of guys that will get into lifting weights and everything, they want to improve their self image. They want to get stronger and bigger and more aesthetic and more pleasing and whatever. And that can get to a point where they start pushing too far with that, and then they wrap their identity around the way their appearance is, and especially if they're getting a lot of positive feedback all the time. Oh man, you look so massive. Oh, look at you. Look, oh, you don't want to mess with this guy. He's so strong in the gym. He'll tear you in half and all the rest of it. And they start to believe that that's who they are, and it's like, everyone knows me as the big strong dude, and I'm buff at all times. And if I don't have that, oh god, I'm not going to be who I see myself as, and my personality is going to be at risk. And you see guys, I used to work with a guy that when he was off cycle, he would wear 4 different t-shirts underneath his normal shirt just to keep the appearance that he was as big as he was 2 weeks beforehand. And it's just one of those things that if people start saying, oh, this is who I am and it's every part of me is my physique and the way that I appear, that's where you run into problems where if they get sick or if they start to lose size through age or whatever it is, or something goes wrong or things aren't working as well as they used to, and they're like, oh, but this is who I am, everyone knows me as this, and if I'm not that, then I'm nobody. And you can see them start to increase the amount of stuff that they're using or whatever to try and hold on to that. And it's like, mate, who are you trying to impress? Like strangers you walk past that you don't know, you'll never see again? It's like it's not worth that. Those people's opinions don't matter. It's who you are and who you believe yourself to be. And that's why I respect guys like Dorian Yates so much, because he's like, I don't need to be it's 300-pound monster for the rest of my life. Like, I'm happy being just me, and I love training, and I'm still going to train. And he still looks good. He's like 220 pounds. He still trains most days. He goes, works out in the gym and all the rest of it. But it's like, he's not there going, I must be Mr. Olympia still in this physique at all times for me to have value to my character.
Yeah, I agree, man. And the one thing that I did learn though from arm wrestling pretty early was I actually lowered all my dosages and things I was taking because, at first, I thought it was the same as bodybuilding. I was taking the same stuff, and that's when I popped my bicep tendons. And then after learning, all about bicep tendons and tendon strength, I actually learned that steroids actually work against you and gaining your strength and all. So I actually had to do the opposite. I had to come to terms with, lowering my dosages, not looking as crazy and focusing on my bodybuilding and my full physique, but just like concentrating on just getting stronger. And that was like my hardest part. It took me a good year or two to get past that and be like, all right, I'm done with bodybuilding right now. I'm going to focus now on arm wrestling. And that's when things actually started changing. That's when I started seeing, my strength go up and, but I also noticed, I wasn't looking as crazy. I wasn't that walking billboard that I was used to for the 20 years years before, where everywhere I'd go, it was like people would always come right up to me like, "Holy shit, you look sick," and that would always be the start of a conversation. It was like always a conversation piece. Where now it's like, everybody just looks at my arms and like, "Oh my god, your arms are jacked," and all. Where everything else was like your whole body was nuts. So I kind of like lowered everything when I got into arm wrestling and all. So I'm kind of happy with that, knowing that I just had the kidney issues, and knowing that at least for the last 3 4 years I've lowered everything, where I might have been even more paranoid if I was still on the big body pilling dosages I was taking when I was younger and all. But moving on from that, like I said, now I'm strictly on. I'm going with TRT, and I will dabble with HGH. But other than that, I'm done. I'm not taking any other substances, and even like with my nutrition, I already told everybody I was going down to that 176 class. But now it's like, it sped everything up. Now it's like I really think about when I'm gonna cheat or have something bad in me or whatever, or if I'm not drinking just water, because that was another big issue. They were telling me it was like, with kidney stones, it's dehydration and all of that. So I also up my water intake. But yeah, man, there's a lot of things that we got to worry about as arm wrestlers and all. And another topic I want to bring up is, I know Israel's going through it right now. Israel's got an issue with his shoulder going on, and he's been going to the doctor, and he just got set up for an MRI for next week to actually find out what's going on in there. But we want to talk about injuries in arm wrestling and, the proper way to go about it. So, say you're at practice one day and you do something to your arm. Let's say that you feel something around your bicep. So just kind of want to go over like the procedure for people, what to do when you feel that, because, sometimes timing is very, very important, especially when it comes to a tendon injury. If a tendon ruptures, that means it disconnected from the muscle. Then you have only a matter of a couple of weeks to get that fixed up. So after you get an injury or something at table, the first thing you want to do is you either going to go to emergency room, and you're going to go tell them that you need to get an x-ray, and that starts off the process. And then that's step number one. After they do the x-ray, then if they haven't figured out what's wrong, the next step would be to get the MRI. And that's the real important one. That's going to show you everything. That's going to show you if something's disconnected, if you got a tendon that's popped, or if it's, it's just cut in half, or you could it's still attached, but it's shredded up or whatever. So that's the procedures you want to do. You don't want to just go, "Oh, I know I did some, but I'm just going to wait and let it heal up on itself," because if, like I said, if that tendon's still not connected, you only got 3 maybe 4 weeks max to get that fixed up, and then you can't get it fixed because the tendon is, it's tight. I forgot what it does, but like shrivels up that you can't stretch it out anymore. So that's something that Israel, if you could kind of just tell us what's going on with your shoulder and kind of your experience of what's been going on over the last month.
Ready doc,
Yeah,
whatever.
so
So
I think I hurt my shoulder a few months back. It was after Patterson that I actually went in and decided that I needed to go in, because it took me a long time to get it to where I could really arm wrestle again. And I think that, was probably the first indicator. I'm not really good at listening to my body, and I try to like ignore it and just work through the pain. But this is one that just particularly took longer. I had never had anything take this long to heal up. And, after Patterson, I really didn't, I still didn't really feel anything other than extreme soreness. So, talking to you, Paul, and getting into it, I decided to go to the ER and get the X-rays done and everything. And yeah, I have a lot wrong with my shoulder. I mean, it's a long process to get to the MRI. Honestly, it's not easy, but now we're finally there, and I'm hoping that I don't have anything torn, that I don't have anything that needs surgery, because that would be bad. But if it's the route I have to take, then I'm going to do it. I'm just worried that maybe it's tendon related and it's too late.
Scott, I'm glad that you just popped in again. I know you've experienced things. I know if you went through the surgery on your bicep tendon, I also know at the shoulder as well. Maybe you could chime in a little and kind of give Israel some advice and how to deal with things.
But as far as recovery, or
yeah, as far as well, just finding out what's wrong, man. He's he's experiencing a lot of pain in the shoulder, and he went through the X-ray. They haven't did the MRI yet, but he's just trying to figure out what the best course of action is to
So
figure out what it is.
base, basically, Scott, it feels like my pronation is just back
What's it
pressure and
feel
leg
like?
pressure.
Is it in your lower? Where are
It's
you
right at the
feeling
top
it
of the
though in your
shoulder.
arm?
It feels it like right there. It feels like my
Yeah, that might be
pronation and my back pressure are gone.
that might be a tear in your rotator cuff and not a bicep tendon. That because your long bicep tendon is connected up there, but also when you're pronating and pulling back towards you, that's your rotator cuff. I have a tear in my left rotator cuff, so pronation hurts me a little bit when I use pronation.
Yeah,
So it
and it's
could
very
be it could
weak.
be
It's like you can't really
it
access the
shuts off.
pronation. It feels weak. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, mine will hurt so
Yeah,
much my arm would just give, which is a good
that's what I'm
thing, right?
saying.
Because you don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
you don't want to go further and injuring it further. But yeah, you need to get an MRI to actually see what's wrong with it. I mean, the only other suggestion is if you haven't tried DMSO, have you heard of that yet?
I haven't. I've seen you talk
So
about it before.
DMSO is an ointment. It's a not an ointment. It's a solution that you put on that they use on racing horses. They now use it in the medical field where they didn't use.
Scott, you're
Lost
cutting up.
connection. I don't know. It's weird. This stream here was really hard to get connected. Am I on now?
Yeah,
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 all
yeah.
good, man.
All right, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna go
that
closer to my.
that DSMO cream he's talking about is really good. It's just the smell of it is horrible. It's gonna stink out your whole house. Try
Yeah, I
finding
mean,
some
you
stuff
put.
that don't have no scent on it. I think they make one that's not as
What
smelly.
what does it do? It's for healing like tendons and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. What's crazy is Dalton. What's his name? Duncan Dalton, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, Dalton
You
Duncan.
know, Dalton Duncan. He works at the factory that makes the stuff.
really.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. And that dude's like, I don't know if you ever gripped up with them, but that kid's really strong. Like surprisingly strong. Let me see if I can fix this picture. This is terrible. I don't know if it's the lighting, but yeah,
Yeah, I know
he
Don.
he
He's a beast.
yeah, no, he is for sure. But that stuff's like it truly is a miracle worker. You'll be surprised as soon as you put it on. Literally, as soon as it touches your skin, you taste it. That's how
Really?
fast it seeps into your blood. Yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
yeah, but that's
But like
more of
Paul
like
said,
a mask. That's like putting tape on something. That's not gonna heal up anything. That's just gonna get the pain away and all that kind of stuff. So if you need surgery, that's not gonna help with that. But as far as pain and numbing the pain and all that, that helps for sure. So, guys, you want to now get into the big events coming up this weekend that we got going on?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, East versus West 13 and Arm Gods Wales are two big events. Thankfully, they're running on the same day, but because of the time difference, they're not overlapping each other, which is fantastic.
Hell yeah. You know what we got to make mention of also, man, is real gangster move from Brad Grundy from Florida. Brad just made a massive call out, bro. He just called out like the top guys. I think was it the 115 kilogram class where he put out $5,000, and I think he called out like Devin, Michael Todd, whoever wanted to take the match. He's putting up $5,000, and they don't have to put
yeah,
up nothing. So they put up
I think
five. He
Brad.
put up $5,000, and they don't have to match or anything.
Wow.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Brad's good
Conzilla
for
as
it.
well. He called him out.
What are you guys' thoughts on that, man? This kid Brad is no joke, man. But that's the way to do a
Shot
call
at
out.
winning.
That's gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
What do you think,
I
Scott?
was,
He has a shot against them.
100%. I think he's got a shot against any of those guys. Absolutely, he's very good, without a doubt. $5,000's nothing for him. Okay, he's got money, so it's obviously to get these guys to come to the table without trying to pull teeth, because obviously they're restricted by certain individuals, not letting them pull wherever they want to. So yeah, I mean, $5,000 might entice them. It's probably still not enough for Devin. But yeah, I think Brad's got a good chance of beating any one of those guys.
What match would you like to see him most? Which match would you like to see him take? Like, if you had to choose one of those guys, who would be the one?
I mean, if I had to choose, I'd like to see him pull Todzilla, just because their styles are similar, and I think Grundy's got a strong enough to be able to control his flat.
Okay,
Am
Matt,
I
what do you
delayed
what do you
too a
think
little
of that
bit? Or?
match? You're chopping up like crazy, brother.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
That
still hearing what
sucks.
you're saying every now and then, but yeah, just not the best picture, but that's okay. We still heard your thoughts on it, and yeah, I think it's a fantastic thing that Brad Grundy's put up the $5,000, and what a smart marketing move. I mean, if you're trying to get a play with the top guys in this sport, it's like, well, put your money where your mouth is, and that's what he's done. And he said, look, here's $5,000. I'll challenge anybody who wants to come and take it. And what a clever thing to do. What a great self promotion. And it's like, I'm here. Here's the money. If you want it and you think you can beat me, then let's have a look. Like, bring yourself to the table and let's do it.
And they got that big event coming up, that East versus West Challenger. I believe that's in August in Florida, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He could do it there. He could do it anywhere. That's one of the great things about setting up one of those matches. Is it's a money match. It's like, we don't need to have an event tied to it. We can just have this match and do it anywhere you want to do it.
That would be a good one. Do you think, does Todzilla have a match at that August one yet? Israel, do you know of that?
I don't believe so. I do not think he does, and that would be a really good match.
I'd like to see that, man. Todzilla and Brad 5K in Orlando at the Challenger Series. That makes sense.
Yeah, man. Brad
would be
beating
awesome.
Matt Mask was a pretty big statement, especially right now that I would think Matt Mask is a very good version of himself.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Is or
So
isn't? Is,
He is.
right?
He is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
He was
Matt
ready.
Mask
He
is
was a
very
little
strong right now.
overconfident for sure going into that match. Like I talked to him prior. He came on our show, and you could tell he was pretty confident he was going to win, and he didn't. So shit happens.
I know, man. And those were some good matches. Like, they were battling it out. Like, it wasn't just, Brad sneaking in a quick pin. I mean, they really, he had to drag it out a few of those matches.
Yeah, he did.
well, speaking of Todd Hutchins, he's got a huge match coming up this weekend, and he's going to be going against Krasimir. So this one is an interesting one. I like this one, man. I got some, personal knowledge on this because, we know that we watched Krasi against Corey West a couple of years back in Louisiana. And then we also watched Todd Ziller beat Corey West at the event I threw in Texas. You know what I mean? So it was. How do you guys think that one's gonna go, man? Who do you think is the favorite? My guess is I think Todd Zilla is gonna be the favorite, but I don't think it's gonna be an easy match either way, man. Scott, what's your thoughts on this one?
I think Krasimir and Todd will be a good matchup. Um, it's hard to say, man. It's like they're so similar in styles that I think Todd having that weird, awkward, open palm move can fool a lot of people to think that they're in control when they're not, and then they start to peak out on their endurance, and then he starts winning the match with just side pressure. So unless Krasmir, he trains for that, then he's going to be in trouble. I think I'd lean towards Todd a little bit, just a little bit.
Israel, what's your thoughts, man? I know you've been on the table with Todzilla and all. How do you think Todd's going to do against Krasimir?
You know, it's gonna go straight into a hook, and that's gonna be the fun part about the match. I do think that maybe Casimir will put a little bit of resistance, but I think ultimately Todd is going to take it. I mean, Todd, you go into where Todd wants to go, and it's just, I mean, I've never seen the man just be ripped out in the hook. You know, maybe Prudnick did it, but who else?
Matt, who do you think's stronger, man? You think Todzilla or Krasimir in a hook?
Yeah, I think Todzilla is my pick for this one as well. He's probably a 75 to 25% winner, I would say, on this. I mean, Krasimir could do it. He's got the skill, he's got the experience, he's got the knowledge. I just don't think he has the ability at this point in time to defeat somebody like Todzilla. But I'll be interested to see it. I always enjoy watching both guys compete on the table, and especially getting two veterans like that facing off against each other. It's just a fun match.
Have we seen them grip up before? Have these two ever pulled each other?
I think they have. I believe they have, but I know that my belief is Krasmir. He's not. I don't think he's a steroid user. I think he's
No.
natural.
Yeah.
No,
No,
Yeah, as
you
far
know
he's
as
for
I
natural.
sure.
as far,
He's always been very always vocal about that he's completely natty and he's very against it. And I know I think he's always been in tested
Yeah,
events as well.
that's what I said, right? I said he's
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's obviously it's not going to help him against Todd. So that part's not in his favor. So Todd, Todd's going to come in fully equipped and filled up big time.
Hell yeah. And guys in the chat, man, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. And if you guys can help, make sure to click that subscribe button. We're trying to get Matt to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. I know he's been trying for it for a while, and we want to help him get there. And we're going to do the next couple of weeks of the Arm Wrestling Buzz are going to be on Matt's show. So definitely every Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time for the next couple of weeks. We will be meeting up here, and this is where the Arm Wrestling Buzz show will be. Also want to shout out to some of the regulars. We got White Wolf in the house. We got Richard, Drew 24. We got Tall Paul, Strength Old School. What's up, guys? Appreciate you guys all tuning in, man. And if you guys are enjoying this, definitely click that thumbs up. Helps us get up in the algorithm. So another match I want to make mention is the ladies, man. There is a big one on this one, and we got Barbora going against Egley. Which, if you guys don't know, Barbora is the number one female on the planet. This lady is just a straight up beast. But she's got her handful with the number three woman on the planet, Egley, who is just unbelievably strong, has a hand of steel. I got to meet her at East vs. West 4 in Turkey. What a great person. And I'm telling you, when I gripped up with her hand, I've never felt the female's hand feel like that in my life. That was insane, like a vice grip. So this one is going to be a good one. Who do you think is the favorite, and who would you like to see the winner go against next? Let's start off with you, Matt.
Yeah, I think Barbara is obviously the favorite there. I mean, she's the champion at the moment. She put on such a dominant performance against Gabriella a couple of years ago. But yeah, if Igai is going to pull the title from her, it's going to be a tough ask. I think it's probably, well, for me, if I talk percentages again, I think it's a 90-10 for Barbara. But yeah, a good match. I mean, 1 versus 3 in the world, you can't get much closer than that in terms of ability. And if Eglay's got what it takes, she's to be the new champion. This is her opportunity.
Now, with have you guys seen with this Jocelyn Bryson going around from Canada that has just been tearing up all the ladies with the right arm? We got to see her in that round robin, and really shocking to see her just beat Sarah Bachman pretty dominantly. And all, so that she's been the talk of the women's class and all. So I know she's going to be watching this match really closely, and I am really want to see the winner of this match go against Jocelyn, and Jocelyn to get a run at this. What's your guys' thoughts first off on this girl Jocelyn? Scott, have you seen her performance at the round robin recently?
Is Jocelyn is she the one from Canada or?
Yes, Jocelyn's from Canada. She was the one that won the 154 plus round robin. She won undefeated, dominated everybody, made it look easy.
Bit of it. Um, Frozen. Yeah, I
No,
saw a
you're
little
the
bit
only
of it.
one that keeps.
You're good.
She's pretty impressive.
Now, how do you think she goes against a girl of Barbora or Egley, the top of the top in arm wrestling? Do you think Jocelyn is there, knowing that she's only been in the sport 2-3 years? Could she possibly be already in the top three in the world?
That I honestly couldn't tell you because I'm not familiar with these girls. You know, what I mean, I haven't.
I hear you. Matt, what's your thoughts on this, man? Have you been following Barbora and Egley and all?
Yeah, well, it'd be interesting. I'd love to see that match. And we saw Jocelyn. We had her on the show. Was it a month or two ago? And I think was it at the Mac event that she competed, and she was able to get the victory there quite comfortably. But yeah, I'd love to see her compete and get an opportunity to go for the number one in the world. I mean, that's always everyone's goal in the sport at the elite levels. It's like, how far can you take it? And if she's got an opportunity to say, hey, look, I've beaten your top people so far, especially over here in North America, who's the best? I want to go against them, and I want to be known as the number one in the world. And I think she's probably going to be competitive if she does step on the table with Barbara.
Israel, what's your thoughts on it, man? Is she ready, or do you think she needs some more time, more experience?
I will say that I think she definitely is the one to step up to that plate. Whether she's ready or not right now, I don't know, but I definitely think it would already be interesting. And I think the more time that passes, she will, without a doubt, just be more and more in the conversation. I mean, the way she beat Sarah, the way she's been competing against everyone, it just seems like we haven't really found someone to test her yet. So why not throw her right where they're definitely going to test her?
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know she's top. Obviously she's beat Sarah. Sarah is, I think fourth in the world right now. So she's somewhere in that top three. I'm not so sure where she's gonna fall. I think it's gonna be definitely. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's gonna be close. I would like to see her go against Gabby as well. I think that would also be a very good match to see where she's at. um, I'm not sure where Sarah was at that day with her training, so I don't know if that was the top Sarah Bachman that we've seen. I would like to talk to Sarah and kind of get her thoughts on Jocelyn and all to see if she believes she's in the top three. But I'd also like to see that run back Sarah versus Jocelyn in a super mat format, because that was done in a round robin where they met after going against a few other competitors before. They didn't have any problems with the people that went before. They were pretty fresh on fresh. But a super match might change the outcome. So I definitely would like to see that. But I definitely just want to see Jocelyn get a chance and get on that big stage. She definitely deserves it. She's been going around and just kind of like dominating everybody. And I just love the confidence in her. She's very well spoken, great person for the sport and all. And I think she'll get a lot of younger ladies involved in it. If they seen her, they could inspire to be like her. So definitely want to see her get more active and all, and definitely cannot wait for that big match between Barbora and Egley for sure. What other matches on you guys want to talk about? Is there any other that stands out for you other than we know we got that main event match, with Artem Morzov and Vitali, but what other matches are exciting for you guys on there?
Definitely the Prudnik and Irakli match. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see that. That's the number one. That's the main event for me.
I don't know, man. Who do you think is the favorite on that, man? That's a hard one. I have no clue what's gonna happen on that one.
Yeah, that's what makes that one so much fun. Is it's like it's so hard to pick a winner. You got Prudnik, who's at the top level and has all the technique and skill and ability, and you got Irakli, who's just an absolute phenom of power and training with Levan, and he's been crushing people lately and setting these bicep curl records. And yeah, I'm just super excited to see that one. Like for me, I'm leaning slightly towards Irakli just based on his most recent appearances, but yeah, very very excited to see how that one plays out.
Israel, what's
And
your thoughts on that, man? And if you had to pick one for the win, who's the winner?
I think this match is really interesting. Prudnik is one of those guys that he just seems to dominate everyone, and he's a little bit bigger than Irakli, I think, all around. So I don't know. I could really see Prudnik's hand being a problem. Even though Irakli's known for his hand in his top roll, I still think that Prudnik can bring a lot to the table. And have you guys been keeping up with the videos he's been posting? The guy
Yeah,
is really going after Irakli right now.
yeah, he's very entertaining, man. I like the videos he's putting out and all. Very thoughtful and all. It, Here's one for you, Scott. I want to get your take on this, man. Travis the Beast Bajent versus Kalenchko. Sergey, who wins, man? Is the Beast really back? And is he going to be just as strong with that right as he is with the left?
Well, first off, Prutnik is one of my favorite arm wrestlers, so I'm rooting for him against Rockley. I love that dude. I think he's awesome. He's always been one of my favorites for a long time. And then I think Travis is gonna make a stand. You know what I mean? He's got to win, doesn't he? I mean, how can he not win? So yeah, I'm gonna go with Travis 100%.
After seeing the match with Travis and Derek, what did that tell you? Did that tell you that Travis is really back and taking this 100%, or we still don't know?
No, I don't think that really proved much there. I think that was to get back on stage. You know what I mean? Get up in front of everybody, kind of get back into the routine of stuff. So I don't think I love Derek, but I don't think that was much of a challenge left-handed for him. So no, I don't think that proved anything. Aside of getting back up there and getting back, in front of everybody and performing was the main thing. So I think that was good for him. So yeah, I think Travis would be back up to top form by the time this match takes place.
Now we did hear on I heard Travis saying that he did after pull Derek with the right hand as well and did the same thing to him on the after pull table. Now does that give you any insight of what they expect against Sergey, or Derek's not on the same level as a guy like Sergey?
I didn't see them pull at all, period, on any after table. So I don't know where that took place, but I missed all that if it did happen because I was there when they were after pulling. Maybe I just missed it. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you for sure. Travis didn't mention pulling him right-handed either, so I have no idea.
I heard on the I saw it, I think, on Arm Wrestling News. It was Pradeep's channel that he had a clip, and it was Artem and Travis speaking. And Travis said that right after his match with him, left hand, they went upstairs and they pulled on the after pull table, and he did the same thing to him, right hand. It could be Travis telling a story, but that's what he said on his podcast, and also I kind of was going off of that info.
About a table being upstairs, so that's all news to me.
It probably all BS. Anybody in the
Yeah, I
chat,
think it
maybe
is
you guys could fill us in.
because I did have dinner with Travis when he
Okay,
fitted. Yeah.
gotcha.
I'm surprised that this match is right-handed. I thought Travis had 3 left-handed matches lined up that he was going to hit in 3 months, but I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a right-handed match.
Yeah, this is the first big test for Travis since he popped
Prediction. I
his
didn't.
chest. Yeah, he popped his chest in the last right hand match against that guy Saban, I believe, back in 2019, and this is the first right hand match since then. So we're gonna get to see if his pec holds up during this, which that's a big question, and I know Travis is definitely
Right.
concerned about that. I've talking with Travis over the last couple of years, and he has no idea if it's gonna hold up. So this will be a good test as well for that.
Yeah, I would put my money on Israel and myself against Travis right-handed.
Holy shit!
5K.
Shots
I don't
fired!
know.
Shots fired!
What do you
Well,
think,
here's another one,
Scott? You
guys.
think he was really bullying Derek with the right, or you think that's just him talking?
I don't. I like I said. I don't. He never said a word about pulling Derek right-handed, and I didn't. I was there for the after polls, and I don't know any other after polls unless they went to Brad Gundy's house the next day. But I don't think they did any arm wrestling. They were all out on water skis and jet skis. So I don't know of any after polling that took place. And I think Travis would have said something, but I could be wrong. Yeah.
We'll find out. We'll follow up on that. Another match that I want to make mention of, guys, and this one is two just amazing table ninjas. This one is an interesting one for me, and that's Daniel Prokopiak and Bozadar going against the left hand. That's what makes this one interesting. It's the left hand because Bozadar is known as the man right hand in the 80 kg class. He was always the number one dude, and then Daniel was always the number one dude with the right hand in the 70 kilograms. So he's 10 kilograms lighter than him. But as far as the left hand, Daniel has always been a killer with that left, being number one in 70 kilogram class for the last couple of years. So this one is gonna be a good one, man. Both of them are both table ninjas, like I said. They're both like amazing next level world class pullers and all. Who's your prediction for this one, Scott? Let's start off with you, man. Who do you think is gonna be the favorite in that?
Daniel's another one of my favorite pullers. I got to meet him in Moldova a few years back. I think it was 2018. Yeah, 2018. And I was super impressed by him. But then this guy, Bozadar, when he beat Tony Katalski, he was like, he definitely made an impact. Like, I was like, damn, this dude's strong as hell, boy. So I'm going to lean towards Bozadar just because I think he's stronger than Daniel, even though Daniel's got some good holding points. I think Bozakar will still come out victorious.
Matt, what's your thoughts on this one, man? Do you think that Bozador is going to be the favorite, even though it's a left hand?
Yeah, it's a tough match to predict. This is what's fun about a lot of matches on this card is it's very hard to pick an obvious winner, and it's sort of the matches that you want to have if you're a promoter. It's like you don't want the public going, "Oh, this is just a squash match. This dude's just obviously going to crush him."
Yeah.
So to have both guys could win this. It's so hard to predict how it's going to go. It could go inside, outside, anywhere. Like it could be flash pins. It could be. I think it's a 50-50 call for me. I can't say one or the other. If I had to pick somebody, I'd pick Daniel. But it to me, it could be a coin flip.
Israel, what's your thoughts, man? Who are you going to put your money on?
I'm really, these are two guys that if it was right hand, I think Bozador has it. But the fact that it's left hand and Daniel is really known for his left hand, I think he's the favorite. I mean, the guy always punches above his weight with that left hand, and both of his arms are good. But I think he's left hand dominant, so I have to go with Daniel for this one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Israel on this one. I love both guys. Both are really good friends of mine. I wish both of them the best and good luck, and I always want both of them to win. But if I had to pick just from my knowledge and all, just because I know Daniel is just so strong and dominant with his left hand, I'm going to go with Daniel on this one. That's not taking anything away from Bozador. Amazing arm wrestler. Like I said, the top of the food chain when it comes to right hand and all. But just because of the left hand, I think that Daniel will overcome the size difference Bozador has on him just because it's his strong left arm. So I'm going to go with him on that. The other
So I'll
left hand
bet you
match.
a dollar each against each one of you.
All right,
Okay, yeah.
a dollar.
We with
Let's
that.
bet.
The other left
So
hand
US
match I
dollar.
want to bring up is we got Artem Tararenko, and he's got his hands full going against
Oh,
Tom Rositz. This one is gonna be a good one, guys. What's your thoughts on this? And then, the other thing is, somebody in the chat, I believe Drew said that, do you want Derek on the podcast? Yeah, bro. If Derek could come on the podcast, please send him the link right now. Matt, you want to send over the link to Derek? See if we get Derek Smith to pop on and give us a couple
Yeah,
of his predictions.
easy,
And then,
mate.
perfect. And what's your guys' thoughts on this match? We got Artem against Tom Left Hand, man. And I'm just glad to see that Artem made it to the big stage. You know, I know him and Engen had a past and all, and obviously they've sorted it out, and Artem's getting his chance now, so this is a great thing for Artem. He's been murdering it in North America for the last 2 years, just progressing so much and all. And now we get to see him on the world stage, and he's definitely got his handful because this dude Tom is an absolute beast, man. So Israel, who do you think's gonna get the win, man?
You know, they really put up Artem against a tough opponent, man. I gotta say, Tom is an animal. He is one of like, I believe he's Latvian, right? He's one of the guys that right now
Yeah,
is like taking over Latvia. I mean, he is. I believe he's like he wins. He won Europeans both arms. I mean, I think he might have. I mean, he just wins both arms everywhere. I don't know what arm they're pulling. I imagine right arm, right?
No, they're pulling left arm, and that's
Oh, left
Artem's,
arm.
bread and
Yeah,
butter is his left.
That is Artem's strong arm. I don't know, man. I think the favorite has to be Tom's. Tom's Rosets. He's a beast, man. I think Artem has a lot on his plate with this guy.
Hell yeah. And I just want to say, Derek Smith did send me a message on my messenger. I can't exit out of here. If it exit out, it'll send me out of this interview we're in. So I don't know what he said in there, but guys, if you can just, send over Derek the link. I think he wants to come on in as well.
I
Yeah, I
But
think
think
I might be able to send it to him.
yeah, I sent it
Perfect.
to I sent it to Drew, and he'll send it through to Derek. So
Perfect. Matt, what's your thoughts on this match, man? How do you think this ends up? Do you think Artem's going to get the win? Do you think Tom's going to be too much for him?
yeah, well, I mean, it's left-handed. We had Artem down here for AWE2 a couple of years ago. He had a left-handed match against Mario Tembakis that Mario was able to get the victory. And for me, I think Artem's strongest arm, obviously, is his right. I don't think he's at that elite world-class level with his left. I think that Tom's is my pick for this one based on that. I mean, it's going to be fun. It's always great to see Artem compete, and he's a top roll king, the Russian spy. He's got a lot of followers, a big personality. He's a fun guy, but yeah, I think if it was right-handed, I'd feel differently about it. But I think left-handed, I don't see him getting the win.
I don't know, man. Artem, I think left hand is his more dominant arm. I think that's like
Yeah,
his bread and butter.
his left's his better arm, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
His left's better than his right.
Matt,
Just
Matt
seeing the
just doesn't
result.
sound that confident with Artem, man. He's not sounding too confident. Matt, you didn't like Artem when he came out to you guys?
Artem was awesome. No, he was fantastic, man. The difficulty getting him out to Australia, like he was such a champion in terms of just 18 flights, 18 bloody flights to get him here.
Wow.
18
Yeah.
I remember that. That's when Bowen sabotaged him, made sure that he had no chance of winning that one.
No, I felt felt terrible for him. I think he started the journey on a Wednesday and he got here like Saturday night. It was just insane. Like there was so many cancellations. Yeah, it was ridiculous. There was every airline kept canceling his flight, and then they would reschedule it, and then they would cancel the reschedule, and then it was like you got to stay in this city overnight, and then I don't know. It was so bad. The time we got him here, finally, and then he lands in Sydney. He's only got to go from Sydney to Adelaide, one more flight, which is like 2 hours. Great. Okay, he's in Sydney. He's in Australia. We can get him here, and then that flight gets cancelled.
I remember that. He kept posting that whole time. That was a crazy trip for him. I see Tall Paul put a comment in there. He goes, what's Israel versus Rickert match look like? That would be a real interesting right-hand match. It's just right now, like I said earlier, is Israel's going through some injury right now. We're going to get some MRIs next week. So we'll know what we're dealing with then and, kind of gauge where the recovery process and all. But fresh Israel, I think is going to be a good match against Rickert, two young up-and-coming studs. I'd love to see that happen. Scott, have you heard much about this Rickert guy from Australia? He's this young phenom doing big things, being Lachlan Adair, and just kind of the
Wow.
number one guy out in Australia right now.
No, I just know that when I saw Israel and Patterson, I was like, whoa, there's something wrong here because you didn't perform up to par. There's definitely something missing. Like there's something wrong. And yeah, about being injured, but I assumed that there was something wrong because you just didn't perform up to par. So I was kind of curious. So now I
Yeah,
know.
you know, I got injured a few months back, but you know, I went into Patterson to test it out. You know, I wasn't going in with excuses, nothing against any of the guys that I went against. It's just, you know, something that I thought I could deal with on my own, and I can't.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, you know, he knew there was something going on. He knew there was something like going on in the shoulder. So 2 weeks before Patterson, he called me up and he was like, "Yo, bro, I need to just come over and kind of test out the shoulder, get on the table with you, and kind of see where I'm at to see if I could compete and all." So he came over. We did like a full workout. We got on the table. We did some work and all that, and he was feeling decent, but he did feel a couple of movements where he was like, yo, there's something a little twinched or something. But he thought he was good enough to go to Patterson. And then he went to Patterson, and I think it was like right away. He knew right away there was something seriously wrong. And, you know, he finished
Yeah.
the day off, you know, being the beast he is. But we definitely knew there was something serious and that he's going to need to get an MRI and all.
Yeah, man, it sucks because now I'm out of the game for a while, but I
So,
have to get it
guys,
healed
let's
up.
yeah, but bro, it's part of being an arm wrestler, man. And like I said, man, don't worry about it. It goes fast. Recovery is quick in this sport, you know, and you know you'll heal up, man. So we'll get through this, brother. Don't worry.
Yep.
It's just a
Thanks.
little speed bump in the journey. That's all it
Yep.
is.
One day at a time, dude. Hey, and then I didn't comment on Artem, and I was just with them in Florida. And I got to tell you, man, he was weak as fuck, bro. I mean, weak. And I didn't even pull him. He wouldn't. He kept running from me. We talked shit the whole time. And when it was time to get on the table, dude, he literally ran out the door, bro. He got beat up by Patrick, beat him up, and then the other kid beat him up, and he just couldn't win a match, man. So hopefully he's on the rebound and he's gearing up and he's getting ready for this match because he definitely needs to be prepared 100%. I'm rooting for him for sure, no doubt.
Hell yeah, man.
He's
Good
like my
luck on him,
arch
bro.
rival, enemy, buddy.
Oh, actually, Scott, since we have you on here, I just wanted to make mention. Scott Wynn has a huge match against another legend of California coming up. Is it cool if we talk about that, Scott?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Scott has a match against Mike McGraw out of the California Armbenders here in Central California. Yeah, big
That's
match.
a good one, man. Two legends
between
of
both of these
California
guys-
going at it.
Between both of these guys, bro, there's probably like 80 years of experience in arm wrestling.
Fuck
Yeah,
wow.
at least, right?
Yeah.
So Scott,
So
what's
tell
your
us-
I have a lot of
thoughts, man?
respect for
When
Mike.
is the date?
Yeah.
I think it's July. I don't know. When is it, Israel? I'm not sure.
July 11th.
July.
For North versus South too, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I
July
feel pretty
11th.
good, man. I felt pretty confident. I know how to pull Mike. You know, we've pulled a few different times. We've gone back and forth with each other. I know exactly what I need to do when it comes to the hand. So I think I'll be able to control the match, and I think I can come out victorious for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one.
What's your
It's gonna
record
be a
with
hand
Mike?
battle.
The record, I don't know. We've gone back like so many years. I know I beat him in Fresno out there in Central California. I think may have been the last time we pulled right-handed, and I ended up winning right-handed. And then at this one you're showing right now, we pulled left-handed, and he ended up getting the win on me left-handed.
Okay.
But
I
this is
can't wait for
Jake the
that one. That's
Snake.
going to be a good one.
Yeah, this is gonna be a hand
This
battle.
is one
That's
of my
both of these
favorite
guys.
matches of all time, dude.
Oh, yeah,
That's why I
that's
brought it
another
up.
guy
This is-
with the beast. That's Jake Smith, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Jake talks so much shit.
Yeah, I remember watching this match, man. This is,
Viagra, and he crushed me. But out of the strap, he didn't have a
Yeah.
chance out of the strap. Most guys don't. There's only a few guys that can actually handle my hand. Other than that, everybody runs for the strap, for the aid. to be able to keep a grip because they can't keep a grip on their own. But that's
this guy
that's
right
the
here,
state of the
he was
sport.
one of the few guys who kept arm wrestling alive back in the day. Pullerville, I remember when he was making videos.
Hell yeah, those
Polarville was the
Pullerville
best,
guys
dude.
were great.
Yeah,
They were, man. He knew how to capture the angles, dude. He was so good at this. So good at it, man.
yeah, it
Yeah,
really
those
was.
guys ended up splitting up because I remember I was trying to get in touch with them and all, and I think they live in different places now or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, let's just finish up.
Yeah,
We
I
got a
think he
couple more
started.
matches I want to make mention of on East versus West this weekend, and then I just want to get into arm guides, and we can end it there. But I want to make mention of we got Chance Shaw's got a big match, and he's going to be going against that dude Ibram. So
Ibrahim
what's your thoughts
Saidov.
on that, Matt?
Yeah, I'm excited. Hang on, let me just bring it up so we can see it on here. Chance Shaw, there you go. Yeah, it's always good to see Chance compete. I know he's 1-3, unfortunately, with the East versus West, his record there at the moment. But this is a good opportunity for him. He's obviously heavily involved in that promotion. He's running the Challenger Series and everything that was over in the States 2 weeks back, and he's got that presence about him, the charisma. He's building a big following at the moment, and he's putting a lot of time into social media and. Chance Tugboat Shaw, he's doing all the right moves and getting himself known in the arm wrestling world and getting these big opportunities. So hopefully he can capitalize that and actually come away with the victory on top of it as well, continue that momentum. So yeah, big challenge though against Sagoff though. But if Chance is good enough, this is his play.
Israel, what's your thoughts on this, man? I don't know too much about Ibram. Do
Well,
you know much
let me
about
let me
him?
let me tell you a little, Paul. So this is the guy that just beat Sandris at the last time they faced in the East versus West. Now
Oh
Sandris
wow.
beat Chance. You remember that, right?
Yep.
So this is going to be a match where Chance, he has something to prove. He wants to show that he's really leveled up, coming in and beating the guy that just beat Sandris. And I think it's a smart move. I think it's going to be a really interesting match. Ibrahim definitely pulls differently than Sanders. He's very much wants to get deep in the hook and bring you to his side. Chance is very much an expert at keeping people away from that. So I think stylistically it makes for a great match, and the fact that Ibrahim just got a win on Sanders, just is like the cherry on top of the cake for Chance to win.
Now, how did the match go with Sandras and Chance? Wasn't there like one round that was like where Chance shocked everybody or something? Was that?
Yes, yeah, they went into the hook, and I believe Chance arguably got a pin or got really close to getting a pin. But then, Sanders was able to bring it back. There we go. Let's see it right now.
This is round 1. Which
Yeah.
round was it?
I believe it was round 1. I believe
Okay.
it was early on.
You can see it right here. They're slipping.
So that
Let me
was slip. Yeah.
skip forward to the actual.
But yeah, let's see here. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Wow.
Yep, there we go.
Shit.
It was arguably. Oh, it was. Yeah, it was a
Wow.
pin. Okay, so yeah. Oh, they
Well,
gave
they gave him an elbow foul.
They gave him the foul. But as you
Yep.
can see, in it was competitive in the hook, and then from there, Sanders really adjusted and kept him away and created a hand battle, which is how he ultimately defeated Chance. But
Okay.
you see, Ibrahim doesn't have. I'm not saying he's not as great of an arm wrestler, but he doesn't have as wide of a ability book in the arm wrestling table. I think he's very much wants to get you to his position and just drag you down. The guy is just really strong.
So what's the key for Chance to win? Not to go inside with this guy?
Yeah, I think Chance is going to really try to keep him out of his power. It didn't work too well against Sandris, but I think against Ibrahim it might be a little bit more effective.
Okay.
Chance
Scott, what's your
needs to get hand control. It's always the case with Chance. Defensively, he lacks still. I mean, unfortunately, I don't know how much time he's putting into defensive pulling, but it doesn't seem like that's what he's doing much of. So offensively, if he gets the hand, he usually wins the match most of the time. And I think right now he seems to be in really good shape. Like I think he's going to come in prepared. I'm gonna say Chance is going to win, even though I really don't know much about the guy he's going against. But I know that Chance is hungry, and like I said, Chance, if he gets hand position, he's usually going to win. Offensively, if he gets stuck on the defensive side, he always seems to suffer. And I really haven't seen him come back from the defensive side too often. I
Well,
think he
I'm
needs to
wishing
get him up
Chance
there.
the best of luck, man. I know he hasn't been competing as of much. I know he's been doing a lot of big things with promotions and all. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him back on the table, and want to wish him the best of luck in his upcoming match.
Hey, and I know
Um,
you
we got,
guys already touched base on Autumn and what was it, James?
Yeah.
yeah,
Right. So I was there for that match, and James blew it. Like he should have won by all means. Definitely stronger. Um, he lacked composure a little bit. Even though he never lost his true composure by getting mad or angry, didn't really show too much frustration. Too much frustration, considering everything he was being put through with the shenanigans. Of course, that referee didn't do his job. So I would have loved to have ref that match. It would have been completely different, 100%.
So Scott,
Um,
you being there, you can attest that you think the refereeing could have been better.
oh, 100%. Yeah, he definitely didn't do his job on this match. He lacked, he lacked professional. What he wants, and I don't to do what he wants, and I don't know hand not to foul him out, but there's no way in the world I would have ever allowed that. Like I've ref matches where there's no time limit, and that's different. But this has got a time limit, and this is like match after match after match. This should have never have gone on as far as it went on, and the foul should have been called. Um, you don't talk to the referee like that, and the ref never acknowledges any opponent that talks to them like that. You just don't acknowledge them. You try to set up the match, say ready, go. If they weren't ready, that's on them. You know what I mean? If you want to sit up there and try to manipulate the grip and talk your way into a victory, that's one thing. But I'll never allow that. You know what I mean? There's a time limit, there's time constraints, and you have to follow them. And this guy got pushed way past the limits. And it could have been officiated a lot better. And hopefully it never happens again. And that goes for his pops too. You know what I mean? Devin gets away with too much. It's crazy what goes on at that table. And trust me, if I was repping, that would not happen. 100% would not happen.
how do you feel about the hate that Aydin's getting now? Do you think he's deserving it, or he just got away with what they let him get away with?
Oh, I think it comes with the territory. It's just like Devin. You know what I mean? You got a ton of sheep that follow him. The guy can post a picture of his nose, and people are going to give him 1,000 likes. It's just the way it is. Um, it's part of the character. You know what I mean? It's like you either want to love or hate that guy anyway. So you're rooting for one or the other. And this created that for sure. Like a lot of people want it. If James would have pulled out the victory, that he would have brought the house down. Everybody would have went crazy, 100%. And Autumn ended up, manipulating it, and he ended up coming out with the victory. And his dad was there patting him on the back, and that's what dads do. But I think that I go in this direction. That's my opinion. Others might like it and enjoy it, but they also enjoy the King's move, or as I call it, the Desperado move, because there is a legit King's move, and then there's the Desperado move, and that's basically when you drop below the table and you're praying to God that your arm don't snap and that the torque can hold the guy out until he gives up. You know what I mean? So that's my view on it. And I would love to train with James. I had no idea he came to the gym at Mindy's. I wish I would
Oh
have been
yeah,
there.
yeah. He's
Yeah,
close to
I
you.
had
He's
no
close
idea.
to you, Scott.
Yeah, I heard he's close to me. So
Yeah, we
hopefully
got to
we
get
can
you
hook
two.
up.
We got to get you two connected, bro. I was telling him about you and saying that he should get over and train with you guys, and you could help him out a lot. I think he'd benefit a lot from learning from you, Scott, for sure.
Absolutely.
Right now, I'm concentrating on Mega Mike and his son. Um, they're
Ooh, that's a big
they're.
one we
I
should
think.
talk about, Paul.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think
yes.
that's a big possibility. Minor, his son's 16 years old, and this kid's a killer. He's 230 pounds and fast as lightning, and he's strong. He's super strong, and with a little bit of knowledge, he'll. I guarantee you, he'll beat Auden. And then Mega Mike, I think he's got a good chance against Devin now that he's dropped the weight. And Devin doesn't seem near as strong as he was before. I mean, everybody was beating up on him at East versus West as well. So yeah, I think he's got a good chance. I think the two of them could definitely come out victorious over the Lorettes, without a doubt.
I think that's a good one, man. I got to meet Mega Mike's son a few times over in Las Vegas, and then right at Knuckles Up 3, he was over in New Jersey. Great kid, man, and just like you said, tremendously strong. He was just beating, and he's old. You don't expect.
Yeah, he's a beast for sure.
Yeah, Miner's a beast, man. I got to pull him also in Vegas, and the dude is quick. He's got a nasty hit, and he's
He
strong.
does.
Yeah, I mean, the older he gets, the stronger he's gonna get. So I
Yeah.
can see it, And Auden shouldn't wait
Yeah.
too long, man. I can see this match. By the time Mega Minor is 9, I mean, he's going by Mega Minor. That's what everybody was calling him because he's Mega
Oh,
Mike's
really?
son. Yeah, Mega Minor.
Great.
I don't know if it's sticking, but that's what everyone was calling him. And yeah, man,
I like it.
I think in a few years, man, if Auden doesn't keep going, he's gonna be some trouble for him. That's for sure.
Well, we're talking 6 months, dude. I'll put money on it.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, no, you're right. And he's grown. I mean, the last time I saw him in
Now, of
February, he
course.
wasn't even as tall as his dad. Now he's bigger.
Yeah, he is 100%. The kid's growing fast. 16 years old. You know what I mean? Your puberty is kicking in, so he's
growing
getting
like a
stronger
weed.
and stronger. That testosterone's kicking in. So, yeah, hopefully this happens sooner than later. I'm sure Devin will want more than anybody can give him, but whatever. It is what it is. The challenge is out there. We'll see what
Yeah, and
happens.
that would be good, dad versus dad and son versus son.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be a good one for sure.
That would be amazing.
Who's the guy in the beard?
That's Michael.
I'm just kidding.
I know. And you know what's funny? I think when that video
He's
was
a Viking.
posted, Mega Mike was only like a year in or something like that.
Yeah.
That was 2021, so it's just the first one that popped up. I thought I'll put Mega Mike on the screen for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, Mega Mike's only been pulling for like 4.5 years or something like that, right?
Yeah, not that long. Yeah, and he's still a power puller. Like, he doesn't have a lot of technique. He's pure power, man. And
Oh, we're losing everybody.
We're losing everyone. I'm still here, man.
Oh, he's back.
Man.
He's Scott's back. Hang on. There he is.
Okay, there he is.
Oh, it's a much better picture. What'd you do?
Oh, yeah. All of a sudden,
we got rid of Paul. Where's Paul at?
I don't know where he went. And then you disappeared as well.
He was killing us.
Your picture looks good now, though, Scott.
That's funny because I don't know why. Like, this is a different streaming site, right? It's not Zoom.
Yeah. It's Restream. It's like the more prominent one in Australia, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I use the Aussie arm wrestler. Put me onto it as well. But yeah, it was because Paul's having some. Well, he's flying all around the country setting up these businesses, and he's like, "Look, I'm not sure if where I am at the moment has a good enough internet connection. Can we run it on your channel this week, maybe the next couple of weeks, just so I don't have to, worry that we're going to drop out halfway through?" And I was like, yeah, no worries. But I run everything through Restream, whereas he does it through Zoom. But a nice picture of you now, Scott. It's all cleared up.
Once you get it all figured out, this is nice, man. It's got some good features.
It wasn't easy, like, figuring this one out. Obviously, your first time, it's always different. But yeah, I was struggling. It was frustrating trying to get back on. And again, like the picture, I was like, why is my picture so bad? And then I couldn't even see myself, really. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it seems like it's a lot better. I wonder if it was just his reception that was pulling from all of them. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
possibly. Yeah, I'm not sure, but we're all good to go. Yeah, so we just got a couple more matches. I just wanted to talk about the main event for the East versus West, which is Artem Morozev and Vitaly Laletin. We just bring that one up here, and there it is. So how are we looking for this one, Israel? What do you think?
Before we get into that, I wanted to get Scott's take on. I'm not sure if he saw it, but it was a really interesting match. The Ivan Matyushenko versus Artem Morozov match, the left-handed match.
I don't think I've seen that. Was that at the one in? That wasn't in Florida, was it?
No, it was at a King of the Table. That one.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it.
Yeah, man. That
yeah,
match,
I'm usually out on my Harley on Saturdays. You know what I mean? Saturdays and Sundays are writing days. So that's the thing about these streams. I know that they're on like all day. On the weekends, it's like it's too bad that these guys can't do it like at night during the week when we're all sitting at home, not really doing much. You know?
Yeah, I know. I know you like to go out on your Harley on the weekends, Scott, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things with Armwrestling.
It's a workout too.
But he's got that California weather, and he lives in LA, man. Scott's got to be out on the Harley on the weekends.
Oh yeah, dude. We're up in the mountains, up in the hills, down on the beach. We're all over the place.
What was it in Israel that specifically in this match that stood out to you?
The whole thing, man. I mean, arguably, I would say Matyushenko even won this. I mean, I would almost say he got the win stolen. I mean, he took Artem to the absolute limit of his abilities. I mean, he was just holding on for dear life. I think Matyushenko was in control most of the match.
We just saw him get a very comfortable hook pin right there for a 1-all. But
yeah, and it was all similar. It was Matyushenko kind of getting that position. Now he was fouling out as he would drive to the as you can see there, his elbow is very far back. So it's not like Artem was not putting up a fight. He definitely was, and he was very strong. But a guy like Matyushenko is just nobody really thought he was gonna give Artem this big. At least nobody who knows who he is thought he was gonna give Artem this big of a battle. Because Artem is the world champion left-handed in the super heavyweight division for East versus West. So the fact that a guy who generally walks around at a lighter body weight and doesn't necessarily look like he's a guy that is taking Artem to his limit and was pinning Levon at one point. I mean, it's crazy.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, this is a left-handed one. So the main event for is obviously right arm for Morozov, but yeah, Morozov and Laletin will be right arm for the 115 kilo plus title.
Oh, they're having it's right arm.
It's right arm, yeah.
Oh wow, it changes it. I was thinking for some reason it was left arm.
Yeah, no, it's a right arm super heavyweight super match. Yeah, 115 kilo plus, but that must put a change to your mindset for that there.
Wow,
some big dudes.
That's crazy. If it's right-handed, that's very competitive, man.
If it's right-handed, I mean, I'm gonna go with, but yeah, Vitaly's got that long arm, man. He can high post against this guy and get out on his fingertips. Obviously, it'll probably go to straps. So who knows? I don't know.
Oh, and Scott, Derek just told Paul that he in fact did not pull Travis right-handed.
He didn't.
Didn't.
He sent a link here. I'm just going to load up the link.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Yeah, because I was with Travis most of the time, so I don't know where he would have squeezed it in or would have heard about it.
Let's see if I can skip through to where they're.
Monster.
All right, let's have a look.
At what? He said at the 1 minute mark.
Okay, great. Travis versus Derek right arm. Here we go. Do you want me to bring up the sound?
Sure, why not?
I killed him. He could have used 3.
Now that can make things interesting. Derek does not have a super elite level right either, but it's better than his left. We saw in the Matt Mask match that he was able to offer some resistance to Matt, at least in the initial rounds, and he has defeated Tim Bresnan as well. So that kind of tells us something about Travis Bajan's right arm as well. So do we still have Kalinichenko as the favorite to win against Travis? I think we do, but not by a huge margin. This is not something but Devon is saying that Travis is going to absolutely kill Kalinichenko. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Devon is saying that just so he can fill the arm betting blocks that Travis is not able to sell as of now. Engin Terzi has announced a couple of super matches. Hunter Novs.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Hunter Nas.
That's another guy, man. That dude is dangerous.
Yeah, that kid's something else, man. I can't wait for him to destroy Doug. I mean, I like Doug, but Doug's been going off the hook, just saying how fucking good he is. And
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, when do you arm wrestle? Because I'm missing it. I do not see you pulling, and when you do, you get injured. So why are you so highly ranked, and why are you so high up on your horse? And I actually challenged him myself. We went back and forth. He ended up erasing most of the posts. So I still want to pull him. You know what I mean? I'll put up my own money. I mean,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I know Doug used to be one of the guys.
Hunter is,
all days. Yeah.
I think he's a beast. Of course, everybody's beatable. You know, everybody's going to have their given Sunday, and everybody's going to have a bad day. So, you know, Hunter's coming on the Best Damn Arm Wrestling Sports Show Friday night. So you guys will be able to check out that episode Saturday. But
are you kicking up all the episodes again?
Yeah. Yeah, we're back.
Okay.
We're back on again. You know, Reza's got a lot going on. He's got he's got a professional life now that he's really got to dedicate himself to. But I got him back, thank God. So, and he's like, you know, he's the technician that brings up like Matt's doing, pulling up videos. So, and I need him for that. And we got a lot of great guests. You know what I mean? So, I think Hunter's going to be a blast, dude, because we're going to go off. We're going to talk some major shit because a lot of major shit being talked already. So we're just gonna push the limits a little bit more.
Oh yeah, that's exciting, man. I'm glad you're starting up the podcast again, though.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And we're dealing with the same thing. It seems like, you know, I know a lot of these guys buy their subscribers. You know, you're a Ryan Bowen guy. I think he's from Australia too, right? Pretty sure.
Yeah,
he might be. Oh no, he's been kicked. No, I didn't keep him. He's popped away. He's back.
You cut me off on purpose. I know you did.
Oh yeah, Ryan. Obviously, yeah, he's from Australia. He's from the top of the country. I'm from the very bottom.
Yeah, so we're trying to accumulate subscribers.
Well, Scott, let's just let everyone know that you started your show again. I mean, you're one of the OGs of our sports. Everybody knows you. Yeah, everybody knows you, Scott. You're one of the OGs of our sports, and all you got to do is let people know that you're starting your show, and I'm sure everyone will be willing to help give you a shout out.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, I know I have a lot of enemies as well as people that actually like me, but I don't hold grudges, and I don't have enemies, so I'm good. I got no conscience of worrying about not liking anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, Artem's at the top of the list, but he's still one of my favorite people. You know what I mean?
Scott, I'd love to get your take on one of the rules that I really don't like in the current setup that they're running with the East versus West, and that is the elbow foul. When you're losing, you're about to get pinned, and people lift up their elbow or they drag way off the back of the pad very deliberately, and they get a restart for that, rather than
automatic disqualification, loss, winner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Anytime you pull your elbow off the pad to try to yank out of a match, you just pulled out of the match. You lost. That's the way it should be. And this all slips go to the straps. Oh my God, they just did that at the World Series of Arm Wrestling, and I was furious because I'm refereeing, and I'm like, they told me the rules, and I'm like, what? Are you with? No, man. Not all slips go to the strap. Why would you do that? You just gave the option of letting go every single match from any position on the table. Ridiculous. Not what we. The sport stuck between us as arm wrestlers because of the rules. Mainly because of the rules. People who watch the sport do not see arm wrestling. That's not what they're watching. And then when you put the strap on, an aid, the accessory, the handicap, whatever you want to call it, it's helping to keep the hands together. Because why? Because you do not want to keep a grip. Why you have to go that route is, to me, it's a sissy way out. You're bailing because you can't hold on and you think you can win in the strap. Like, the best analysis for that is, if you're climbing a rope, right? It's pretty hard, but if you get to use your feet too, it's a lot easier. So it's the same thing with the strap. You know what I mean? So why you have to use a handicap when you could just hold on? And that's what arm wrestling's been based on since the beginning of time. It's been the gentleman's sport. It's been the man's sport. It's the sport that settles arguments. But now you want to cheat? Now you want to manipulate the sport? Why? Just for the victory? But when it looks horrible, like nobody's cheering you on when you're got an open hand and you're pulling out, and now all of a sudden you get to regrip and completely devour the guy's fingers. Instead of regripping for a hand, you're regripping for their fingertips.
Yeah.
It's not arm wrestling. That's
Yeah,
a strategic move of cheating and manipulating to try to win a match, So I'm just different like that. I've just never believed in cheating. I've always been as fair as possible, and that's why I've always admired John, Giannis, Todd Zilla. There's a handful of guys, Ron Bath, all
Yeah.
the strap, But, I'll be ridiculed for saying that, and I don't care, because the truth is, you're the sissy, and I'm the man, because I'm holding on. So,
Yep.
as long as I'm the man, that's all that matters. So,
Yeah, well, a lot
whatever.
of people want to take the hand out of the equation,
Well, it's a grip sport. Is it not a grip sport? That's the first thing you have to do is grip.
Take a grip.
And then you got Dallas. God bless you, Dallas. But I mean, dude, it just, trying to get, and proud of it. You know what I mean? He'll make a post like, I slipped every match. I'm proud of it. It's like, wait a second. You just admitted to being guilty. You're going away forever. You know what I mean? You just said it yourself. You let go on purpose. That's one of the rules. You have to hang on. And then Leonard makes the statement of, well, you're not obligated to hold on. If they're not holding on, then you don't have to hold on. Oh, that's brilliant. So now we don't hold on anymore. Why is anybody holding on? And then you got the elites, You got Travis says, if you're holding on, you're an idiot. Devin Lorette, same thing. Why would you start hand to hand when you could put the strap on? Why, guys? Why are you promoting this? It's ludicrous. And then you got the followers that are like, I love the strap, man. You're the one running. Just don't be afraid of the strap. And I'm good. I feel like fairly good right-handed in the strap. Left-handed, I suck. I haven't found the spot, but right-handed, it's different. But I got taught a lesson from Brandon Morris in that Florida, against California, where, he brought his referees down and he cheated his ass off and was moving in every referee's grip. He let go every match. And then in the setup, he fucking cheated, like moved the whole time. He was moving and regripping and moving. And it was like, dude, if there was money on the table, it would have never gone that far. But, it ended up being a loss for me.
Yeah, I remember that event.
Yeah,
cheating, but you guys out there that love that shit, that they rooted on. It is what it is.
Yeah, it almost seems pointless. Like, you get, say, two top rollers come up to the table, and it's like, just start them in the strap, because both of them are just going to go rip. Like, it's like, why are you wasting everyone's time?
And I think that's great. If both guys go, hey, we want the strap, perfect. We'll strap you up, no problem. But no, you want to F off. You want to regrip, sit there, try to cheat in the grip, and then the whole time you're planning on letting go? Good grief.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
Gentleman's agreement to just put the strap on or something.
Yeah, 100%. Not that hard to ask for. I ask. literally when they come up, I'm like, you guys want the strap? You know?
Yeah.
And then they turn around and slip, and I'm just like, come on, dude, I asked you. Why do you play games? Like, you're not trying to hold on at all. Train your hand. Train your hand. It's not that difficult. The hand can be trainable. You can make it stronger, thicker, faster. It's possible to get a stronger hand and not rely on the handicap of a strap to help you hold on. So that's my advice. Train your hand, and stop offering the strap as an option. It's a last resort. When two guys can't hold on and they end up slipping, that's part of the game. Strap them up. But not if they lift their elbow to get out. That's an elbow foul. No strap. You don't get a strap because you tried to yank out of the match. Now you're rewarded with the strap.
Yeah.
And like you said, lifting the elbow up during the match, it's like, oh shit, Israel got my hand. Let me lift my elbow up and stop the match.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I like the running foul though too.
Yeah. And on that note,
We've lost him again.
The running foul, you don't have to stop the match, and a guy can foul and still lose, and it's like you declined the penalty. You're like, I don't care if his elbow came up, I won. Done deal. Next match. So I'm a big fan of the running foul. For sure.
Yeah, running fouls. Absolutely. With AWE, we put that in the rules. Running fouls, and there's also we put in the professional foul. So if you do anything to avoid the loss, like in that position, you're being driven towards the pin pad, and you pull up your elbow. Guess what? That's a loss. That's not a foul. It's not a restart. It's none of that. It's like, you were on your way to being pinned, and you fouled. So not only is it a foul, but it's actually a loss.
It's a professional foul.
I hate that word. Professional slip, professional foul. That does not make sense at all. That's like an oxymoron. You know what I mean? Crazy.
I think it's just the wording, but it does make it doesn't make any sense. It's your professional cheating, basically.
Basically, professional cheating.
100%. Yep.
You guys know, we'll move on to the Arm Gods event, which will be taking place in Wales. There's one match in particular very excited about, which is a heavyweight match between Dean Bolt and James Stewart. If you guys are aware of either of these guys, it's a left-handed match. James Stewart's 6'8" or something. He's a giant man, 165 kilos. What is that in pounds? Let me just do the calculation. 363 pounds. Yeah, and he's taking on Dean Bolt, who was another giant man, not as tall, but he's probably 140 kilos, which is like 2.2, about 300 pounds. So, this will be a very exciting match. Let me just bring up the picture here for it because I did load that earlier. But
what's the experience level on these guys?
Well, what's interesting about it is that Dean is the more experienced competitor. And I've just brought it up here. Let me just bring it onto the screen so everyone can see what I'm talking about. So there we go. Dean Bolt versus James Stewart. So, James relatively new to arm wrestling still, a couple of years in. He had a match at the Arm Gods Valhalla event against Matawaringi Hadamoris from New Zealand. And he got the first round on Matawaringi, but Matawaringi was able to change his strategy, and James was not able to make the adjustments needed to get the victory, which I think was just a lack of experience, a lack of understanding exactly what Matawaringi was doing. But it's been probably 8 months or something since then. So, James is a huge man. He's sort of similar to a Derek Smith, I would say, and he's going to have that leading into this. Dean, obviously being the left arm, he's a veteran in that. He's a strong guy, but that is definitely the match that is the main event for me on this one.
Wow.
Yeah, I would lean towards Dean.
Yeah,
Dean just because of his experience. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes such a world of difference, doesn't it? If you know exactly what you need to do to win the match, to get your lane, to manipulate the setup in exactly the way that you need it, it can win you matches over people that are vastly stronger than you, vastly, faster than you. If you just know exactly what you need and you're able to get what you need, it just can win you matches that you otherwise probably wouldn't.
Absolutely.
And this guy is pretty tall, so he's going to have some leverage. If he knows what he's doing, he should be able to win with the height of his arm. But does he know what he's doing yet? That's the question. Does he know how to use the leverage of the length of his hand to be able to top roll and take Dean's hand? That's what we're going to find out, I suppose, during this match.
Absolutely.
But to jump back to Derek Smith, now Travis and Derek did pull, just to reiterate, right-handed, I don't know. I might have to lean towards Derek, to be honest. So just in case Derek's watching, I would have picked you, Derek, to win that match right-handed if you did pull.
Well, Scott, you know what's interesting is that Derek lost to Matt right-handed, Matt Mask. And
Yeah.
Brad just beat Matt Mask right-handed. So do you think Brad beats Derek?
Right now, yeah. Not in the future. Derek's still up and coming. Derek's still learning how to use that arm. But when Derek finally comes into full form, no. Brad's not going to beat him. There's no way. I think Derek's got the potential to go all the way. I really do. He just needs to figure it out. It's going to come, just hopefully sooner than later. It's it's already been over 10 years, so it's gotta click at some point. He just needs to open up and, like I tell him, compete more. The more you compete, the more you're going to learn. So you can't sit back and think that things are going to change by watching. As well as I do, the more you get up there, the more experience you have, the more you perform better. You're putting everything together. Your ABCs are like, they become better and better the more you compete. So you sit out, you get kind of cold, rusty. Little things like that can affect your performance. So it's really important to stay active.
Yeah, for sure. That 100% completely agree. Israel's laptop just died. He's written into the comments. Everyone's dropping in and out today. Just Paul's disappeared. Israel's laptop's gone. Scott's jumping in and out. Oh, here he is. He's back again.
My laptop, guys. Sorry, I had to join in from my phone.
Okay. You know what though? Hey, believe it or not, everybody thinks I'm a conspiracy theorist, but 5G is an issue. Like 5G it's in transition. It's literally becoming the only internet that you're going to be able to get connected through. You have to do 5G. They're eliminating 4G, and there's 6, 7, and 8G, but it's not the same monster. 5G is a whole different frequency. So, and it's causing a lot of havoc. So it doesn't just affect our phones. It affects the airplanes that are flying. It affects a lot of things. It affects us as humans. It affects our bodies. The radiation that's put out from the 5G is controlled by the WHO, which is the World Health Organization. They control the level of 5G. Now, make sense. Why would the health organization have anything to do with the signal that's put out for phones? So that tells you a little something, like it ain't right. And if the level's turned up, guess what? People drop dead. And there's a lot of reasons for people dropping dead right now. We got COVID. We got the newest strain that they're saying is causing tumors or causing blood clots, which we already know the COVID vaccines were causing all that shit. So there's a lot of 2 and 2s that you put together and you'll be like, wow, do the research and you'll be surprised. But the research is being harder and harder to find because they're not allowing you to research this stuff. So just a heads up,
When we started the podcast, Israel had straight hair, and look at it now.
It's the Matrix. We live in the Matrix, Matt.
Big time, dude. Big time. Crazy.
That's right. But I'll just finish up with the Arm God stuff because these guys, I love to promote them because they do such an awesome job. And we bring them up here. This was one of the incredible matches, one of the most incredible matches I've ever seen. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Was at the last Valhalla event. Matt Smith and Connor Sale.
Absolutely, man. That match those guys left. That's like the definition of leaving it all on the table, man.
Oh,
Those,
that's Matt Smith, dude. I'm a huge fan of Matt. That guy's a tough dude, man.
yeah, man. Both of these guys, dude, just incredible match.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. But I mean, I saw both of them the next day. They were completely missing all the skin on their elbows.
Oh man.
He's like the will to not want to lose and go down is just ridiculous on both of them.
Yeah, when you've got a match, the only match I've ever seen or heard of where one of the competitors had to run out of the room to throw up halfway through.
Yeah, I believe it.
I mean, oh my goodness, that is crazy.
Yeah, and it was first to four as well, so it was just an absolute war.
I really became a fan after that. Those guys I turned into a fan of those guys.
Yeah, for sure.
I
So,
would love to go to Wales if these guys are watching or they watch this show. I would love to come to Wales. That's kind of where my last name originated from, so it's in my blood. And I would love to go visit that countryside for sure.
Yeah, I think you would go over there and crush it, Scott.
And I think there's a few guys over there that would be a good match. I would love to arm wrestle Pasquale before he hangs it up. I don't think he's hanging it up anytime soon, but he's always been one of those guys that I would love to pull. For sure. What's his name? Pro being one of them. I know he just pulled Mika, but Mika pulled him completely wrong. I mean, he blew it.
You should have seen his match with who did he just pull? Robbie Korstindiak, I think he just pulled. The guy from Body by Robbie. Froda.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just pulled as well.
And that was a good match.
Yeah, that was a good match.
Who won?
Wait, no. Robbie actually won that. Sorry, Robbie won that.
Yeah.
wow, really?
I believe so, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah, let me look it up.
Robbie's impressive. He's another guy that's obviously still learning.
Yeah.
But in Florida, he should have won his. He lost his match in the setup, literally.
Oh yeah.
He lost his match in the setup.
John Tieran, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I believe yes, Robbie Korstindiak did beat Froda. If I'm
There's
not
no
mistaken.
way he was going to get any positioning on.
Yeah.
And John, I mean, that dude's he's phenomenal. Like the dude, he lives and breathes arm wrestling, so that's pretty cool.
Tieran guy, man, he really has been, getting better and better and better.
Yeah. Yep.
Dude is.
So that's who you'd want to, if you got the call up, Scott, you'd want to go against somebody like that.
What's he weigh? I think he's a little heavier, isn't he?
Oh, I think he's like 198, maybe.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm heavy right now. I'm 190. So yeah, if I went up in weight, yeah, I'd give him a shot. Absolutely. Like I think I could be. I think it could be Robbie.
185.
Yeah, I usually roll around 185, like 183, 185. But as of lately, it's been more like 190, 193. So that's because work kind of supplies food for us sometimes, and when that happens, I was driving around a golf cart for 3 months and not walking like I normally do, and I put on.
Yeah, man, it's the easy life, the fun life.
You blame it on the 5G.
It's yeah. It's like 100 plus out here. We're building a full scale cruise ship in a parking lot out in Santa Clarita by Magic Mountain.
Wow.
So we're sweating balls. Like I'm peeing maybe once or twice a day, and I'm drinking like 10 gallons of water. It seems like I'm Gatorade and water all day long, and it's just pouring out, coming right out our pores. Yeah, but it's good. You know what I mean? It keeps you in shape.
Yeah, well, Armgods is coming to Winter Blast this year, so they will be there. And maybe if you talk to Paul Maiden or Marcus Thompson and see if somebody might come over for a match with you.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I mean, me and Paul we used to be tight. Hopefully, we still are. I don't know why we wouldn't. You know what I mean? Aside from the shenanigans with the beer man and the can, and I'm not even sure what what happened there, but there was a lot of controversy about how he got cut in the forehead when he got hit in the side. Some crazy shit, but that's the show they wanted to put on, so that's what they did, and they did it twice, right? Two different events. They did the same thing. So if it got him views, God bless him, I guess.
Yeah, that was Beer Man. Yeah, he hit the Paul Maiden with the beer can, and then at the most recent event, it was Uncle John.
Uncle John, dude. Have you ever been with Uncle John in person? Either one of you?
Yeah.
Now, did you think he was as short as he is?
I think yeah.
I thought he was taller. I thought he was taller, man.
Yeah. You thought he was, yeah.
He's like-
in his videos, he looks taller.
Yeah, he's as wide as he is tall.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
He was looking pretty wide the last time I saw him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he gets, he gets around.
Match. The thumbtack match against Evan was the one that I met him at, and it was in Ireland. A lot of fun, just crazy, ridiculous. It was more
quite a character.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, a lot of fun. It's great to have those personalities in the sport, and people are gonna either like them or hate them, but at least there's somebody out there doing something that's bringing attention and saying, "Hey, look, this is something different. If you like it, it's great."
Character. Yeah, everybody's looking for a character. I mean, like there's a big team event that's taking form. I'm a big part of it, but we're trying to get $1 million. We got $100 million for the things are starting to come
together. $1 million prize pool.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
It's going to happen. I don't know about $1 million. We got $100,000 so far, but I think $1 million would definitely be, because if you figure it's a 20-man team, 2 people deep per class, including the women. That way you have a reserve. Somebody gets hurt, you bring in the backup, they bring in their backup, and those 2 compete against each other. So there's a 20-man team. If it was, let's say it's $100,000, I think what that breaks down to $5,000 each. Is that right? So each player would get like $5,000 each. So, which isn't really that much when you think about it, but it's still pretty good. And if you're the best team in the world, but if it's $1 million, we're talking a pretty good payout. And I think it will bring out everybody in the world.
Oh my goodness! If you guys raise $1 million, that would be like $50,000 a teammate.
We're a process of elimination. You'd have to have eliminate all the way down to that best team in each state, more or less. And that way you wouldn't have a ton of teams at the finals. And then at the finals, it's just a process of elimination. And you got, you got different countries and states going against each other. Those people are going to, they're going to cheer for their team regardless. You know what I mean? If it's Texas against California, people from Texas are going to be cheering for Texas. Now, all of a sudden, we have a fan base. You know what I mean? It's not individual fan base with arm wrestlers that are followers. Now you actually have people from the outside rooting for their local team. So when that happens, arm wrestling is going to change. Hopefully we'll get some people that are like, hey, this is the real deal. And that's the whole reason behind the membership league. You know what I mean? If you join the membership league, we get 3,000 members. We're an entity that's looked at by sponsors. You know what I mean? Australia, if they do the same thing, you get 3,000 members in Australia. All your money stays in Australia. All members are entitled to the prize money. So if we fly to Australia, we can win that money as long as we're members. And it's the same anywhere you go. So, and when we're that big of an entity, sponsors will come in and start sponsoring us. And then we don't have to worry about using the membership money for prize money anymore. It's just an added value. And now we can promote better. Because that's the thing, we got to promote the sport outside of arm wrestlers. And nobody seems to do that. Literally, nobody seems to promote outside of the arm wrestlers. So, and I tell people all the time, you know what I mean? They're like, they ask me, and we all talk about this all the time. And they're still surprised when we tell them there's arm wrestling. There's organized tournaments. But then if they watch one and they see the desperado move, or they see 2 guys up there fiddling around and then they literally let go, they're completely baffled. And they lose complete interest. Like, that isn't arm wrestling. So
Yeah.
that all has to be cleaned up. So we have what we call the fairer rules, which like we talked about already on this show, and that's eliminating letting go on purpose, eliminating lifting your elbow up to stop a match, eliminating dropping underneath the table, and having a straight. Once your arm goes straight, you've lost. Your
Yeah.
arm needs to be bent. Once your arm goes straight, now you're relying on sheer torque of your bone of your
Bone strength.
body. You
Yeah.
put yourself in a position that's dangerous for everybody. The promoter, the insurance company that's insuring, and
Yourself.
and the guy that's doing it. So why allow it? Don't allow it. It's not that hard. Let's just not allow it anymore. Let's just enforce the rules. The rules make the games. Officials run the game, and the athletes are the show. Let's just clean it up. I mean, it's not that difficult. It's like it's a real simple solution. And then again, all we need is to have the right format, edit it. Like all these guys that do these live streams, take an hour, take 1 hour and edit your shit and then put it out. We're not going to miss nothing in an hour. And if we don't have to watch all the stupid shit in between and cut all that time wasted on slips and whatever, then it's going to be a much better show to watch, and everybody will want to watch it. You know?
And you're saying exactly what we do with the AWE. We've set the rules exactly like that. Running fouls, none of the crap where people are deliberately slipping. Yeah, and same with the edits that we put out. Like I don't like going and doing it live versus having it edited and putting it out in a way where it's entertaining and making it as entertaining as possible. Whenever I do club matches and I film those, when I edit them, I get rid of all the slips. I get rid of the setup. I just go straight to the start of the match, and normally it's like a minute or less, and it's like it might be first to 4, and you're getting the entire match done in a minute or a minute and 10 seconds because it's just the match, just the arm wrestling,
Right.
None of the actual goofing around of all the setup and the slips and the putting the strap together and the shoulders and that and chalk and the guys wandering away. And it's like, get rid of all of that. Just have the match and start it right there and then. Here's the video. Here's the arm wrestling straight away. You're right into it. You don't need to mess around and watch 10 minutes of setting up to see a slip.
Oh my goodness. Sometimes it's worse. I mean, you could watch an arm wrestling video that's 40 minutes long to watch, 3 minutes of arm wrestling, 4 minutes of arm wrestling.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Nobody wants to watch that. So that's good. I might have to move. I've always wanted to go to Australia, so maybe I'll move out there so I can arm wrestle with better rules.
Well, it sounds like you've implemented the same rules that we've come up with, and the main reason we came up with those were for entertainment purposes, and that's why we've got AWE, arm wrestling entertainment. We want to make it fun. We want to make people to look at it and understand exactly what happened, who won. Well, they started. This guy got the pin. He's the winner. There you go. You don't need to worry about, they got to restart it because of something else and this and that and then there was an elbow foul. What are you even talking about? I don't know what you're saying. Like, and there's 15 minutes of a setup. They slip, then they walk off. They get chalked. They come back. They're trying to get. People are just like, I don't want to watch this. When are they going to arm wrestle?
Yeah.
And then especially if a match ends on fouls, it's like it's the worst possible situation. It's like, oh man, they didn't even get any arm wrestling done, and they've moved on to the next round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little confused with Arm Wars and Neil, the way he does his. Like, I don't know why it takes him so long to put out the footage. Like, it's weird. Like, why is he delaying it?
I think Scott, that Neil
Is
Neil was one of the first guys to really put out like a well-produced arm wrestling piece, And I think back when he did it, there wasn't really like a standard for how long people were taking to do these things. And I'm not sure, but I think maybe his team was consisting only of Jason Statham and himself. So there was no competition, and he just wanted to get it done right. So he didn't put like a time frame on it all, But I do agree that maybe now that things are, have picked up and are moving a little faster, it wouldn't hurt him to, put it out a little quicker, because a couple of those Arm Wars matches do get released months out of the match.
Yeah, it's weird, dude. Like, these matches that they're showing right now happened months ago. Like, I know they're supposed to keep it a secret, but that usually doesn't happen. But
and nowadays, not like you're saying it's even harder to keep the secrets. You know, there's so many people who want to know.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like trying to, I don't know, like again, it's months before he shows these matches, and I'm just like, wait a second, didn't that happen like 3 months ago? Like, and you're just now airing it?
And then
Weird.
it makes it hard. You know, they like everybody knows the match is going to happen on a certain day. It happens, and then all the pullers are on podcasts and stuff, and they can't even talk about it for 2 months. You know,
Yeah. Strange.
That's the thing that, you know. But you
Doesn't
know,
make
I'm sure
sense.
Neil will maybe work on that a bit or see what he can do about it. Hopefully.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Armwrestling. I mean, I
Yeah, me
loved his old stuff. And I kind of like what he's doing now. I mean, I thought of the same thing with the big warehouse, which is still, you know, kind of in the mix as well. But it's like, how much do you want to invest to find out that people aren't going to support it? Like, it's strange how even big money tournaments right now, you got the one with, right, in Tennessee,
Yeah.
where you buy into his nationals. It's $100 to buy in each arm. And there's 32 guys max in each class, which accumulates $3,200 in each class, right?
Yeah.
So that's cool and all. And then I think it's $1,200 for first, and it places down to fifth place. That's all. I mean, it's better than nothing, right? And it's the
Yeah.
nationals. And then you have Greg Sharp with the World Series of Arm Wrestling. Now his weight classes are my biggest issue. Like, I think his weight classes are whack, but you pay $50 to enter, and and here's another one, but you enter and you're automatically in the finals. You don't have to win. You're automatically, if you win, you get 2 nights stay in San Diego covered that he takes care of for taking first place. But other than that, all you had to do was enter to be in it, but you don't have to pay another entry fee. You're good. You're good to go. Just show up to San Diego and you're in the finals. Not finals, but you're in the final tournament.
Yeah.
So, and he's giving away $2,500 right-handed and left-handed. Okay. So he just had a qualifier, and, you know, we have the Armenian guys. We got Viraj, we got Arson, we got David. 3 beasts. I mean, we got our whole team's a bunch of beasts, but a lot of guys didn't show up because these guys were there, which is terrible. They did the same thing in Nevada. And it was like, really? I mean, aren't you competitive? Like, I've never been scared of anybody. Even if I know they can beat me, I know there's this slight chance that they might have a war, and I might get my shot. I might get lucky. I might get a good draw, but I'm still going to show up and compete and support that event. These guys aren't supporting these events, and they're giving away big money, and it just doesn't make sense, man. I don't know. Their egos are so big that they're afraid to go out and lose regardless. They won't even try. They're afraid to lose, so they don't show up. So it's like these events are not getting enough support, and they're doing bigger things than ever's been done in a while. You know, like I threw that tournament in Orlando, Florida, Mr. Olympia. That was my event. That was the United Arm Wrestling League. That was going to kick off the membership league. You were going to have to be a member to win $3,000. If you're a non-member, you were only going to win $300. And me and Greg partnered up for a brief moment, like 2 days.
Greg
and
Brown?
then Greg Sharp.
Greg Sharp. Okay.
And he got wind of Marvin Cohen. He heard the name Marvin Cohen, and he flipped a switch. I'm like, have you ever met him, Greg? He says, no, but I've heard all about him. I said, well, I don't know what you know about him, but the dude's done great. We're still on?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. The dude's done great things. So I was like, I understand if you want to pull out, that's fine. It's totally up to you. I totally understand. And he did. He pulled out. He said, forget it. I'm not being a part of this. You blindsided me with Marvin Cohen. I'm not happy about this. And I said, Greg, I didn't blindside you with anything. Marvin is bringing in the money to this event. You and I were going to partner up and put this event together. And he and we still had the top guys there, and we had some phenomenal matches. and everybody got paid over $80,000 in prize money was paid out. And we had an awesome turnout, you know, all said and done. We had the best of the best. And, you know, I ended up having to give that event up, and I give it to Bill Collins. And now Bill runs it with no money, no money payouts. We got a great venue called Mr. Olympia, and there's no payouts. So sometimes that's just the way it goes. But the support system from our masters needs to.
I remember Marvin. You know, I obviously have not been in the game as long as you, Scott, but I'm a good decade in, and I was training with Eric Lefel back when I started. So I remember Marvin would actually show up every day for training on Sundays. So he would be there, you know, just talking about all the great events that he threw and was going to throw. And, you know, there's a lot that follows with the name Marvin Cohen. And I know you know that, Scott, but he's quite the interesting fellow.
Oh yeah, he's the black sheep, dude. I call him he's the Don King of arm wrestling. He's put on the biggest events, but he's also pulled some crazy shenanigans. And most of the time, everybody ends up getting paid, but sometimes it takes a minute, you know. And he pulls the wool over some of these investors, and they don't know what they're getting into. And then, you know, once the deal is done, Marvin's made his money and he's off, and hopefully everybody else gets their money eventually. But there's nobody that's put on the events that's big as he has till this day. He's put on more events, bigger events, and I don't think anything will ever top over the top. But he's responsible for a lot of arm wrestling. It's just he's looked at it as a way of making money. That's an avenue for him to make money. So, and he loves the sport, don't get me wrong, but he loves money more. So that's sometimes the way it is, you know. Like I say with the arm wrestling league, there's no money to be made. It's like UFC. But once it's big, you know what I mean, we get 5,000 people strong. Now there's a little bit of money to be made, because now we don't have to use that money for payouts anymore, because we got sponsors giving us money to pay out. Sponsors that want to be a part of this big arm wrestling league that's putting out, you know, big events. And it's not the league that puts the events out. It's the associations that put out the biggest events that we supply the money to. So it's a win-win situation. But a lot of these promoters, they don't get it. It's like they think that they're going to lose money because they're offering a discount to members, and that more people aren't going to show up because they're offering money, when it's just the opposite. More people enter tournaments that give away money. But this is the thing, like we were just talking about. It's like when guys don't show up to these events that are putting out big money, it makes you scratch your head like, well, what do you want out of this? Like, do you not want it to go mainstream? Do you not want to be a professional sport? Because it's really questionable, because again, these guys don't show up to some of these events with top dollar payouts. I mean, Bill gave out, it was $400 per class in Nevada State. That's decent money, you know what I mean? And it placed down to third place, and hardly anybody showed up. It was like, what's wrong here? It doesn't make sense.
It is. I've encountered that mindset as well with people here that don't want to compete. There's no point in me competing because I'm not going to win. It's like, what are you talking about, mate? You're going to learn so much by going in this. And yeah, sure, you might not win the tournament, but you might win a couple of matches, which is where you would get a lot more experience. Every time you step up on that table and you get a ready-go start, you're going to learn from that. You're going to come back better. And then by the time you're in a position where your skill level and you're progressing to a point where maybe you're going to be competitive, you've already had all that table time experience with real referees and real matches, and you know what you should be doing. You've set up against different opponents, but it's like, oh, because I'm not going to win, I'm not even going to show up. I'm not going to turn up. I'm not even going to come along and watch. And it's like, what are you doing, mate? Like, for all this time and effort to put this thing together, it's at the same place that you come every week to train, and you're not going to bother to turn up because you're not going to win it. It's like, what is this?
Right. You're at practice, you got this 100-man team, or, you know, Derek's team's pretty huge. Our team's pretty good. And only a few of them show up to a tournament. And you're like, what are you guys doing this for? Like, you Do you just like to hang out at practice, or do you want to compete and win at arm wrestling? Like, what is it that you want?
Oh
And
man.
it shouldn't be, or do it. You know what I mean? You don't sign up for a baseball league and say, I don't want to play, coach. You know what I mean? It don't put me on the bench. I just want to watch. It don't
Yeah,
make sense. So
Man,
because
that's
I
what
don't
I've
know.
heard.
not
I've
gonna
heard you
win.
talk about this league idea for a while, and honestly, that might be like a pretty good way to legitimize it. You know, if you've got stuff invested into it, I mean, it's gonna.
Honestly, Israel, it's the only way that this sport's ever going to change. It is. I've been around it for over 40 plus years. Nothing's going to change it. Every sport has a membership, it has a sign up fee, it has some type of fee, whether it's lessons, you're joining the league, you're joining the series, you're paid. It's the same thing with any sport. Why wouldn't we be doing that? You know?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, while Israel's on his way back, I'm sure he's maybe his phone's died now as well. He's charged up the
Yeah.
laptop at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have been on here for 2 hours, 20 minutes, it says. So his
Yeah,
phone probably did die.
yeah, probably, absolutely. But yeah, we were talking about Armor Wars before with the amount of time it takes for them to put out the episodes. It is surprising that they choose to do it that way. I know if they've only got one person doing all the editing and production side of things post event, it is going to take quite a long time to cut everything together. But their model, I think, could be improved. Those matches that they put out, they're sort of 30 minutes long, and like to me, it's a little bit too long. I'd probably cut it down to maybe 12, 15 minutes at the most. I think there's just too many interviews. They interview the guys after every single round, both guys. And it's like you've got the pre-match interview, you've got interviews in between every single round, and then a post-match interview as well as
Yeah.
all the replays and everything that takes place during the match. Plus, they've start each match with all the setups and all the usual stuff, which they could eliminate as well. But the frustrating thing for me is, you see somebody that gets flash pinned, and then it's like, let's have an interview with both guys, and it's like, well, what are they going to say? Yeah, I flash pinned the dude, and the other guy's like, yeah, I got flash pinned. It's like there's nothing you can really say in that,
Right.
moment. So
Can't elaborate too much when you get your hand handed to you.
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, I do like the fact that he's miking up the table. I think that's a huge factor, is being able to hear the ref and the two guys competing, what's being said up there, because that's what's interesting, and keeps your attention and makes the characters. You know what I mean? You're either going to like you or they're not going to like you. They're going to want you to get your ass kicked. Um, so that's a big factor. I think also, like you said, editing out some of the other stuff where it gets it's a little bit too much. It's unnecessary, because now you're pushing it too far, the wrong direction. You know what I mean? You want it short and sweet, but at the same time, you want to get the gist of. So that's a
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, there's definitely a craft in getting it the right formula, and I love the fact that they're
yeah.
doing it. That they're putting out. I think it's high quality stuff. I think it looks great. That sounds awesome. They've gone with a theme. They've got the Iron House stuff. They're getting people from all around the world to compete in these things. I would love it if they would release the matches, or either go live. I guess you can't do it if you're going to post or maybe do both. You could do a live, and you could also do a post.
Well, he's trying to. It's one of the things that I noticed that I didn't know before. Of you got to be a member of his podcast, right, to be able to view the matches when they first come out. So he kind of took the whole idea of the membership league and said, "Hey, what if I just make a membership podcast?" So, and I don't know how well he's doing on it. I don't know if he's got a lot of people that signed up. Hopefully, he did. Um, but is it helping arm wrestling or is it not? That's the question. Um, I think it is to a certain degree. Again, I think he does 6 rounds. Doesn't he do 6 rounds? That's another one of those things, big question mark. Like, why would you do 6 rounds? So we're going to see if we're even. You win 3, I win 3, and then what? We go to a tiebreaker.
Yeah,
So I
slap
mean,
match.
best out of 5 is already, that's a lot of matches. You know what I mean? Especially if you don't run other matches in between. Like, I'm a big fan of, if there's 5 super matches, run one match of each super match. Don't run them back to back because that's tiresome. You're not getting the best out of that guy. You know what I mean? If he can't recoup and his arm's blown up and the other guy isn't, he's screwed. It's a done deal. So run the next match, let them recuperate, and make it the variety. That way, everybody stays like they stay in tune. They're like, oh, I like this guy. I'm waiting for this next match, but I don't have to wait for 3 of these other matches where they're going to slip 10 times, they're going to arm wrestle 20 times, and it'll be like, oh, it wasn't even a good match, you know. So I'm a big fan of running the next match and giving guys rest. I don't like the fact when they run it to the final 4 during tournaments because a lot of times the guy's like literally being called up. You got 2 minutes. You're like, oh, what do you mean? I get 2 minutes. I can't fill my hand. What do you mean I got 2 minutes? How am I going to win like that? I can't, you know? So it's just, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. And it doesn't have to be that way. And it's always comes down to, we're trying to run this as fast as we can. It's like, well, you're not losing any time by running the next match. Just have it prepared. Have them on deck. Have them ready to go up. Let those guys rest. Run the next match. So it's not saving any time. It's just, and bracketing, they're all on the computer. So how hard can that be? You know what I mean? Click back. You know, it's not that difficult. It's like, it just, I don't know, man. You don't have to run them down to the final 4, especially when there's 5 guys in the class. Like, why are
Yeah.
you running all these matches? Crazy.
Oh, that's right. It does get tiresome. I mean, you look at, say, East versus West this weekend with 15 matches on the card. It's probably going to go 7 hours. It's one of those things where it's like maybe you're keen and you're hyped up for the first few hours, and then it's like, starting to get a bit tired of this now. And then by the time it gets to the marquee matches, you're like, I just want it to be over with. Or you ignore all the early matches completely and only tune in for the main event stuff.
Right. And like you said, if it's 15 matches, run 5 of them, one after the other. Not in a row where they're the same guys going until they reach their 6 matches. Run 5 matches and then finish them off. You know what I mean? Bring them back up, run them again, run those 5 guys. They're done. Move on to the next 5 matches. Run all of them. Don't run one at a time all the way through. That way you're not waiting around waiting for this certain guy to pull, and they're not waiting around all that time too. And they're resting in between rounds. I don't know. It's like some guys will sit there and say, I just want to get it over with. They're full of shit because if they have one long match, they'll change that tune real quick. Now, if you're flashing everybody, yeah, come on. I'm ready. Come on, get back up here. You just had a war. I want you right now. Get up here. You know what I mean? It's like I haven't, like, of course, you get a good draw and you win your matches, and somebody else gets the bad draw with everybody stacked in that side. And now they're having wars, and you're just butter. You're like, oh, I'm killing everybody. Shit.
Yeah.
He just had 2-minute match. He's up next against me. I should be able to win this match, especially if they're calling him up in 2 minutes. So
Absolutely. What do you think about when the referee's perspective? This is something I really, really don't like. Is people deliberately losing so they get into the B side of the draw?
That's a strategy for sure. I can't say that that's a strategy. That one I don't think you can get around. Now they may screw themselves by doing that. You know what I mean? They might take that loss and lose their next match, and they're like, I'm an idiot for laying down. And a lot of it's teammates. Like the Armenians do it all the time. They'll lay down so that they get the other guy in the money bracket. That I don't like. That's not cool. Now, but again, it's a strategy. Now, they probably know everybody that's in that class. So they're like, if I lay down to him, nobody can beat me. So I'll take the loss. I know I'm going to come back to the losers bracket without a doubt and win the tournament. Now, so-and-so, he just got to advance. So now he might be taking 3rd or 2nd place guaranteed because there was only X amount of guys in the class. So that's different. I don't appreciate that. Don't lay down for your fellow Conrad just because you want him to be in the money, the money round, and he knows he can't beat you, but it's a strategy. You know what I mean? Why would you and I get in a war when I know 9 times out of 10 you always beat me? It's like, why wouldn't I just lay down and say I'll hook up and you pull me down instead of just laying down? But yeah, I don't think there's much we can do about that one.
Yeah, I've
Unfortunately.
written it into our rules that every single because we do super matches for our main events, but we also run something called the AWET series, which is our tournament series. I've written it into the rules there that every competitor for every match must give 100% effort, and if any lack of effort is decreed, then it's disqualification. I think it's disgusting to see people deliberately losing for that purpose. I think it's an insult to the audience that comes to watch to see two people go to compete against each other, and to see somebody not try at all. And it's just like, what was that? That was just this guy's obviously doing some manipulation of the rules so that he can advance and his teammate can advance. But yeah,
Now there's been a time or two where, like I said, I've come up to the table, I'm completely fatigued. I can't even feel my arm. And there's no way I can win the match. So I'm like, go ahead, dude. I'm there, I got nothing for you, and I lay down because I know I can't win the match, and I know if I try I might injure myself. So that's different, but that's a truth. You know what I mean? That's the real deal. I'm literally reserving myself from getting injured, and I know I don't have because I just got off the table and they're calling me back up. It's already happened to me where I've lost the guys who could never beat me, but because I was fatigued from a long match and I got called right back up, they were ready to go and they beat me because I had nothing left. I didn't have enough time to recoup. And that's my point about not running back-to-back matches. Run the next match. There is no reason to try to put a guy out. Not to mention you're risking them getting injured by forcing them to go again when they're not ready to go.
Yeah, I'd love to see an event like that. I've never seen one take place where they've actually run with that strategy before.
What do you mean, like not like running another match instead of forcing them to go again, or?
Yeah, like exactly how you said. It's always been a match will start, they'll run through to the conclusion, then they'll go to the next match. But to have round by round different people, I don't think I've seen that before.
Denise Waddles, she'll do that. Like if there's been a guy that just had a war and they're up again, she'll run another match and let them have a little rest, which is great. I appreciate that a lot. She's the only one I know that does do that. That's it. Nobody else I know that does that, but she has done that on quite a few occasions, and that's because she knows that arm wrestler is not ready to go back up to the table. They need to be able to breathe. I mean, I have a stent in my heart now, you know what I mean? And other people have other, health conditions, and you don't always know what their health conditions are or what they're even going through. So it's like to put them in that position is wrong, and it's an injury. It's like asking an injury to happen or something even worse, like for somebody to have a heart attack or stroke because they still haven't caught their breath yet. They're still beat red and they're gushing sweat, and they're telling them you're back. Why? It's just why that it's not giving them a fair shake when they're not prepared or rested enough to even catch their breath. So that's something to consider in all these leagues and all these other organizations. They need to consider that because why risk it? Because in the reality, that is a lawsuit. Like if they force somebody to go back up and they're panting and they're like, I can't, I'm not ready yet. And they're, well, you either get up there in 60 seconds or it's a loss, So they go back up there anyways, and boom, they have a heart attack. That's because that organization when it comes to that person in that position. You know what I mean? They told you couldn't breathe.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a fine line, but
yeah, I'd love actually to see that. Like you say, you took this weekend's event with East versus West, and you said, okay, we're going to run it in blocks of 5 matches, and 1 round for the first match, and then first round for the second match, first round for the third match, and it's like you get to see those 5 that play out over maybe half an hour, and each person should be well rested. They should be ready to go to get back up to the table. They're waiting for their turn. And then it's like, okay, now the next block of 5 matches. And then it's obviously your marquee event, your 5 top matches is going to be the most viewed and most watched. But that's quite interesting. I don't mind that idea at all.
I just think it's a better format. It's more interesting. It's funner to watch that way. You're not watching the same 2 guys for the next half hour. You know what I mean? You're watching 5 different sets of matches, a variety that's just rotating. All of them are taking place, but they're just rotating through all 5 matches. And it's interesting that way. And again, everybody gets a little time of rest. They might even get motivated by watching their teammate or somebody they're rooting for win their match. And now they're amped up for their match. Like, wow, I didn't think he could come back. But because he rested for 5 minutes or whatever, he was able to get back up there and perform. He wasn't going up there going, I can't feel my arm.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't. Go, man. You're killing me.
What do you think of have you seen those tournaments? And this is coming from me watching video game tournaments, but they've had stuff where they'll have a team of say 7 guys, and the first 2 play off, and whoever wins stays on, and then they move to the second guy on the other team, and if whoever wins stays on, and you sort of whichever team ends up with the last person on the table is the victor. And then it becomes that strategy of, okay, well, where are we going to put our best guys? Are we going to leave our best guy to right at the end? Or, there's a lot of strategy that can come with that, which is really fun to watch.
That sounds interesting. I haven't seen that format yet, but it definitely sounds interesting. It's almost like a tug of war. You know what I mean? You get 5 guys on the rope, and it's like, where are we going to position each guy? Who's going to be the anchor? Who's going to be the guy in the front, So that's interesting, but at the same time, that's like a round robin, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
king of the table. Like round robins for us used to be in practice, 2 ready, go. The winner stayed on the table. Now the new guy that comes up, he gets to say that the guy that won has to say ready. The new guy gets to go. So, and the winner stays on the table. So you win again, next guy comes up, you say ready, he goes whenever he wants and ready. But if he wins, then he stays on the table. That's in practice. That was our round robin. That's how we did that. Kind of what you're talking about. The guy stays on the table, winner stays on the table. Sometimes back in the day, guys went 2 rounds without losing. You know what I mean? But that's practice. You know what I mean? You're not going 100% and you're not risking injury because there's something on the line and you don't want to lose,
Oh, exactly right. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it sounds fun. It definitely sounds like a fun little, like I've always said in practice, I want to start this thing where towards the end of practice, okay, let's do our round robin. Everybody gets their dollar bills out. Every time you come up to the table, you ante up $1. Winner wins. Whoever wins takes the $2. The next guy comes up, puts $1 down, you put $1 down. I think that'd be fun at practice, And somebody walks away with $20 at the end of the night, or $10, and somebody else with $5, and somebody else with $5. But I think it makes it a little more interesting. Like I might try that we're having a barbecue 4th of July practice at my house tomorrow, which will probably, I might go Facebook Live. If not, I'll do a recording for the show, but I might just go live. Might be easier.
Yeah,
And we're gonna have. Yeah, we should have. It should be a pretty good practice too, because nobody has to work tonight. I mean, nobody has to work tomorrow, so tonight everybody should be, resting up and getting ready for tomorrow, if they're not already doing something for the 4th of July. But we'll see.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we might wrap things up here, but so good to have you on as a guest, mate. It's an absolute legend of arm wrestling. As you said, 40 years in the sport. You've done it all, seen all the trends come and go, and the insight that you've got is just second to none. So it's a pleasure to be able to talk to you.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It was good being on the show. We'll have to do it again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look out for tomorrow. We'll see if you go live on Facebook, but if not, we'll hopefully get an edited version of that dollar matches, the round robin stuff, the king of the table.
For sure. For sure.
Fantastic. All right, mate. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in the Arm Wrestling Buzz podcast today, and we'll leave it there. But hope everyone enjoys their 4th of July holiday tomorrow, and all the best from us